Okay, get set up here. Hi, Jersey, Darla. Just pop right in there. How's everybody doing? Hi, Lisa. Let me get over here, my tapes over here. How's everybody doing? Hi, Ange. Christy. Tavorna. Shannon W. Nancy. Lori. I know I'm probably missing people. How's everybody doing? Make my camera straight. I pulled some art journals. I've been cleaning a little bit, not a lot, but watching some. I did get my desk clean. I mean, it looks awesome. I can't believe my desk. Maybe this lamp needs to come over here. Let's see if I need more light over here on this side. My desk looks really nice. Let's see. But yeah, I got so many journals and bookcases. So I'm not Hi, Janet. I'm trying to figure out how to weed out my journals, and maybe do I want to tear pages out? Not these kind, but like sketchbooks and journals that are half done. Do I want to take those apart? I don't know. I haven't decided. It's a tough one because I'll deconstruct anything that I feel like, oh, I can reuse this or reuse that. But some stuff, it's not that I want to take apart the pieces, but I just got so many books. I don't know. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for supporting the channel, Pamela. You have an owl coming. Hi, 3G. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Kelly W. I think I said hi, John Deere. Joan Deere. Oh, some of the names get me. Yeah, it is Labor Day. Hubster's home. He's doing stuff around the house. We did a lot of cleaning and stuff yesterday, and that's why I cleaned off my desk. I expanded it down the end. But now I've got piles of stuff that I need to, well, I say piles. They're on shelves. I have shelves full of stuff that I really need to go through, especially journals. But I got so many journals, I just don't know. Hi there, Julie Topaz. How you doing? I've been seeing your pictures on IG. Let's see who else. Yeah. So anyway, Hubster might pop in and say good morning. He found some old pictures going through. Let's see, did I get them on my phone? Where's my phone? Oh, here. I don't know if I got them on. I took them on his phone, but I don't know if I got them on mine. I didn't cloud them. I'll have to get them off of his phone, I think. But yeah, he found a bunch of old pictures in one of the drawers or something. Let's see. I don't see him yet. I don't know. Well, I'll look for him later. So, why is she opening up this can of worms? Because I need to, I don't say downsize, but I need to figure out what I'm going to do with all these journals, or just build more shelves, or just build more bookcases. I have no room for literally not one more book. If I put these back on the shelf, I have no shelf space. And I already took almost all my art books, not my color books, not my abandoned books, or not my, well, there's a lot of books I didn't take. But a lot of my art books, I got out of here and filled 2 full shelves, and I put them in the mural room. So I just need more space or have to do something with these. I know that's true, Janet. That is true. So, oh, you worked on a tree house. Oh, it's on Route 29. Oh, yay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Lisa, the thing about doing that, that a lot of them are unfinished things, and I don't want, they're not stuff I want on in the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like I have, so, a art journal that's half done, and it's got a lot of just sketchy and crappy stuff in it. And then someone goes, "Oh yeah, Dee Dee gave me this journal, and look at all this crappy stuff." Not saying that you do that on purpose. I'm just saying then it's on the internet. I don't want it on the internet. If I want it on the internet, I would have put it on the internet. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't mind showing you guys some stuff here, but I'm not posting it anywhere. So that's the only thing. Um, yeah, well, it's the same thing, Angie Church. If I sell them, then it's out there, and yeah, it's the same problem. You know, if I wanted those things on the internet, I'd put them on the internet. But if you sell it or give it away, then someone's got it, and they can do whatever. So I'm just thinking about just deconstructing them, keeping what I like out of them, and then just maybe throwing away the rest. That's my option. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of them are junk journals, Angie. A lot of them are junk journals. I've got a whole, all the way around the top of my room. There's shelves all the way around the top of the room. I've shown it before. Journals and, art books. So, I mean, art sketchbooks and stuff. But anyway, so I pulled a few here, some small ones that maybe we could work in. And yeah, I know. Like Denise comes over, I mean, it goes in the trash quicker than you can blink. So yeah. But anyway, so I thought maybe because I have all my desk journals. They're all in leather. Most of them are in leather bound though, but they're not all 100% finished. But they're the ones that I used every year for, one a year. Like, I'll pull one just, y'all know what I'm talking about. I've got like 2, 4, 6, I don't know, 6, 7 of these. And I did deconstruct one because I needed the cover for something. So I took it out of the cover. So the pages are in a big rubber band. But, these right here. See, look, I haven't finished that. So, and these are just the ones that are, they're my well, they're my desk journals. So what these are, is Denise would be so proud of you saying what these are, and I don't really do these anymore. I usually have one of these or something to scrape off excess paint. So when I have extra paint, little bits of collage, stuff left over, I would put them in these what I call desk journals. And then I could go back and play in them and turn them into things, paint worlds out of them. I just don't do that many of these anymore. If I'm going to do something this painty in, it's going to probably be in my abandoned books or in my art journals that are the Dilution ones. Hi, Kalura. So I thought on Labor Day, I show you my labor. This is my labor. My art journals are my labor. Oh, wait, I should probably, yeah, let me go ahead and tweet. I always forget. I get I get started early and talking to you guys and I forget. Hi, Becky. Let's see. So anyway, I just thought it would be, and if I feel like stopping and working on something, I will. Do you know what I mean? Let's see here. No, not a message. I need my main page. There we go. Coffee and art journals in the morning. Hang on, guys. Let's put the little coffee cup link in profile. So, are y'all doing anything today or this weekend? What are y'all doing this weekend? Janet, what are you doing? Anything? Check up on you guys. I got my juice. Let's see. Everybody's just saying good morning. I'll put a hand out here so y'all know that somebody's here. Did my nails. I hope y'all ever just get tired of the same old talking stuff because, but don't know. Oh, okay. Well, I know you're going to stream after me, Jan, but you just don't know what yet. Okay. do your sketchbooks, art journals, do the same thing. Show your, and also forgot, guys, on last week I forgot to read out of our 1001 Ways to Be Creative. So I'm going to set that over here to try to remember to do that. Hi, Jeanette, Painty Girl. Doing nothing there, Painty Girl. Becky Calora says, hope to finish a small pocket portrait that I've been working on. Have you posted it on IG, Becky? Hi, Crafty Snail. Good to have you live. Crafty Snail is new to the lives. Welcome. Glad to have you. Make sure, guys, I know y'all sub. Make sure you have the bell clicked. And if you're watching this and you're a lurker, we have a lot of lurkers. If you're a lurker, subby, be a subby. Let's see. So, trying to think of anything else. Do y'all have any questions, comments, what y'all been doing? I like to check in on with you guys before the show starts. It's for a gift. Hi, Hedwig. Thanks for sending me your address. Your owl will go out. Well, there's no mail today, but your owl will go out this week, Hedwig. And then I think I have everybody's happy mail from last week sent out. Hi, Lisa. Lurker and sub. Thank you, Lisa. You got this. So let's see. But anyway, what I thought I would do is maybe talk about different, and I've done it before, but it's always different every time because I never know which journals I'm going to pull. And, talk about different journals, what you can do with them other than store them. I mean, how you keep them. I mean, how you can work in them, I should say. Now, yesterday I did work on another one of my posters. I'm doing 21 posters, and they're going to be different doors within doors within doors. And so I did work on the first one again. Remember, I'm working on 2 right now. They're not done, but they're getting there. I'll show those in a little bit, maybe. But how many of you, and I know most of you probably have, or at one point, art journal in some form? In some form. How many of you art journal? Sketchbook, art journal, whatever you want to call it, Just, curious how many do. And so anyway, I might do some flips and just stop and work on different pages and talk about what's different about each one. Each one has like its own purpose. And thanks to me. Aw. I take Tamarie does. Oh, thanks to me, you do. How long? So you must have been art journaling for a while because we've been doing it here for about 10 years. Hi, Susie's Cottage. She art journals. You do, but in the balcony. Hi, Astrid. I do art journal, but have too many of them to choose which I want to work in. Yeah, I go like this, the desk journals here. I would work in these, I'd keep one a year. like when it started, the new year, and you can see I didn't finish this one. Some of them I don't quite finish, but I'd keep them on. I would used to do these where I'd keep them on my desk for a year, and then just whenever there was leftover paint, little bits of collage, little inked stencils that were left over that you could smash in there. I art journal and brain dump journal. Yeah, I have different ones for writing. I have different writing journals because some of those, my writing journals are very specific to specific topics that I write about. So they're not really, they're not the ones I art journal in. Sip of juice. So most of my art journals don't have a lot of writing or words in them, just arting in them, collaging, mixed media. Judy said, good morning, Dee Dee, fabulous fibs, and most marvelous mods. Yeah. Hope everyone is happy and well. For 6 years. Yeah, I was just coming over YouTube. Yeah, about 6 years ago. And then before that was 4 years on Ustream. Yeah. Hi, Mrs. Let's see. Katie. You either won something or I was sending you something or you super chatted me. I do not have your address, Katie. I need your address if you want a thank you happy mail. I was looking through my outgoing this morning because there's no mail today. And I don't have your address. So, yeah, there's my email. So, Camilla 3G Brenda said, I just made my current art journal with 5 signatures. One signature will be junk journaling. One will be a glue and cut journal. Let me catch this because it's going to roll off. One signature is for sketching. One is a black and white journal. So we'll see how it works. Awesome, 3G. And I know it says G3. I've always called Brenda 3G. She's one of the ones I've known for 10 years. Let's see. Hi, Jersey. I said hi to Jersey. She was one of the first ones here. Teresa D. Art journal and glue book. So yeah, that is a good idea, isn't it? Yeah, 3G Brenda, that's a cool idea to have signatures for different ones. What I usually do is just have a whole little journal for one because they fill up fast. If you're going to just do signatures, you're going to find out how quick that fills up, which is fine. That's fine. You'll have a full book real quick. But yeah, they fill up real quick. And depending on how much you work in them, how much you art journal, so I thought I would show some of my journals again. I know y'all have seen my abandoned books 1,000 times, so I probably won't pull those. But I do have my Dilution ones. And, of course, you've seen my napkin journal. And now I've got a new one of these. This one's my little mini napkin journal, which I haven't really done much in this one lately. And or whatever kind of journal you guys would like to see. I mean, I go from the big giant ones and a big poster size down to like, let's here, to these little tiny composition book ones. Hang on, they fell down. Oh. So I can't even keep everything on the shelf. To these little bitty ones like this that these are the same. It's all the same type of stuff. It's just different sizes. And but it's mixed media. They're all mixed media. Some are basically for napkins. Some are for a little bit of maybe faith journaling. This one is my kind of junk journal one where I've never really done this before. Add fabric and Tiff and a couple other girls I've seen do, ribbons and fabrics and stuff in them. So I did a few, I just started this one, hasn't got far. And, but then I have my mixed media in different sizes. Oh, good, Angie. Thank you. So, what is your favorite? Let's talk about what's your favorite. I probably need some sketch paper because then I can take notes so I can answer questions. Let me get a piece of sketch paper. Just a piece of paper. Got cardstock everywhere. I'm just trying to find a piece of paper. Let's see. Yeah, that's cardstock too. Well, I know I got some. It's always so funny. We always have a. Well, yeah, there we go. Some paper. Oh, let me get a. But I did clean off my desk. It was so nice. But now my everyday pen bag is jam packed. This is what I use every day kind of stuff. And I know there is a ballpoint pen in here somewhere, or just a regular pen. Here we go. Just to write down notes and stuff on my Post-it. So, or another question I would have, because we do so many art journals, is what kind of art journals would you like to see us work on? That we could work on, that you would like. Let's see, Lenny's journals. I wish I had the same inspiration. Hi, Lauren. Well, hi, Carla V. Debbie the Doodler. Well, see, Debbie, I don't post a lot. Debbie said she's pretty private. She doesn't post her work beyond her family. Well, I don't post everything either. Like I said, most of my writing journals are not, I don't post any of that. I don't post any of my writing journals. So, sometimes I'll have a little quote or a little bit of something in an art journal, but I'm not journaling and, spilling my guts and posting that online. I don't do that. I post all my art ideas and inspiration. And I think the main thing about inspiration, I always say it, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but most of inspiration is in your butt. You have to sit down, pick up your paints, your pens, your whatever it is you do, and just pick it up and start. But here's the big but. You have to love what you do. If you don't like doing art journals, if you'd rather be a watercolorist, don't start doing art journaling just because you see, oh, I like the way art journals look. I mean, you could try it. I'm not saying don't try anything. But don't think you're going to be inspired to work in them every day. The same thing for my abandoned books and all my collage work. If you don't love it, you will not do it. It's just a fact. I love to listen to music, but am I going to learn to play the piano or some musical instrument or learn to sing better? No, I just don't love it enough. Whatever it is you want to do or get better at, you have to like it first and foremost. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it. You might try something. There's nothing wrong with trying something for one. Kids do that. They'll try a sport or they might try to play chess or do some drawing or singing or the piano or, and then they find out, oh, I want to be a computer programmer. But whatever it is, you have to like it, really, really be passionate about it. Because if you don't have the passion, you're not going to stick with it. You will not stick with it. I only put my art on Instagram with followers who like my quirky style. Well, there's always going to be someone that likes everything. I mean, not one person that likes everything, but there's always going to be people out there that like your style because different people like different styles, So I'm just reading chat here. And yeah, well, and some people like a certain style. That's why there's so many different artists and different. Some people like Picasso, some people like Leonardo, some people like. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's just so many different types of art that certain ones will speak to you more than others, right? But you have to try things and see what you like, but don't be afraid. Like I did polymer clay jewelry, and I tried to do, and I still need to pull those cigar box dimensional things out to show y'all again one of these days. I just found that after working on maybe polymer clay jewelry for a year or so, and polymer clay, trying to do 3-dimensional box, maybe for a few more months, I didn't like either one. I mean, it was okay to do one here or there, but I didn't love it. I don't love doing 3-dimensional things. I don't love making jewelry. So, and there's only so many, I spend most of my hours in here, but there's only so many hours, especially if you have other things, you're bringing up kids, and things. You have to be selective in what you're going to pick. So you might as well pick something you're passionate about. And if you try something, it's not, hi, Amy Bird. There's nothing wrong with admitting, I spent a good amount of money on this clay and a pasta roller to mash the clay and all these tools. And it's designated little toaster oven to cook it in. I don't mess around when I want to learn something. And I usually spend about 4 years trying to learn something, whatever it is. That's usually what I spend trying to learn something well. But did I love making polymer clay jewelry and little people and little as much as I do this? Absolutely not. So yeah, I love my abandoned books too. I love doing collage. Color pencil and collage are my two passions. But mixed media kind of crosses over because I can do both of those in mixed media as well. But I love doing my people and pet portraits, and that's what I do for commission. But I love my collage. Well, let me show you here. I'll show you my 2 collages that I'm working on, my big posters. So I have 21. I have 21 of them planned, and I showed you last Sunday. A week ago yesterday, I worked on this one on stream just so you could see some of the process, the details. So what I did is I got past the initial glue down and the initial painting in so that you could see me work on some of the details. And these are, I think they're 22 by 29, I think I said, something like that. 22 by 29 and a half or something. So they're large. And as you can see. And so I worked on this one last Sunday, and there's some more tweaking I got to do, but I want to get the 21 of them, well on their way before, So anyway, that one. So yesterday, I think what I'm going to probably try to do is Sunday afternoons is where I'm going to dedicate working on these posters. And now this one, I don't know, some of y'all might see what it means right off. But anyway, so here we go. Let me see if I can back out one. I don't know if I can. Am I already backed out as far as I can? I think, yeah, I'm backed out. I'm already as far back as I can get. So I worked on this one yesterday and painted in all the big leaves are collage, and then all the little leaves are painted in. And I'll let y'all kind of peruse it here. Why 21? Because I glued down castles, 19 of them, and I don't like just having 19. It needs to have I don't want to say it's an odd number. 21's an odd number, but it's an even amount. 21 is an even amount of posters. So that's why. Because I had 19, and that just wasn't the right amount of number, so I had to add a couple more. So 21 of them. So here's do y'all recognize what it is? Can somebody tell me what you? I mean, I'm. These are kind of more. You can kind of, yeah, you can kind of see what it kind of is. Yeah, Angie says tree alive. Yeah, Tanya says Eden. Well, the snake should kind of give it away, right? So, I don't know how many of y'all know, the whole story of the Garden of Eden, the two trees, what they mean. But anyway, so here's a little window, and I'll explain a little bit of it just because go over here. It's wanting to flash out. I'm trying to get it to not flash out. There we go. It's better. So there's a little window that you can see through here, and time is beyond. Time is outside of here. So here's space. You can see space as part of it. You all know I love I got something in my eye. Hang on, I'm itching my eye. I got something in my eye. And so what happened in the garden? And then where did they have to go? They had to leave, right? Y'all know they had to leave the garden, right? So, yeah. So I made a little door there. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of creepy, but it's like true, So anyway, they got death is what they got. Well, so anyway, there's my big garden. And again, this is the other one I'm working on here. I won't tell you all the stories of them because until I get them all finished and they're all connected. Thanks, Katie. And they're all going to be connected. So I really like this one because I like the colors. Some of my favorite colors are Payne's Gray, Yellow Ochre, and Sienna. And so anytime I have those three colors, thank you, Carla. So the garden is all, in greens and everything. Those aren't my favorite colors to work with, but, to make my point. So anyway, just I showed you to say that I'll work this small and even art card size. Some of my little art cards that are like inchies. And thank you, Linda and guys. But let's see if I can grab a few. So if you like doing collage and mixed media, some of the hi, honey. You took my pictures while I was going to show them.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you took them downstairs.
Oh, I'm gonna use up the road.
Okay. All right. See you in a few minutes.
You want me to close that front window? Everything else is closed except for that window.
Oh, well then you have to and turn on the air. Yeah, because it gets stuffy in here unless it's no cross breeze. Hub's just running out for a while. He'll come back and say hi. So, even if I just do little art cards like these, lightning hitting the building there, disrupting time. So let's see. These are a couple of ones that I keep just for samples. So these are, hi Kenneth. Anybody else I missed? I keep a few of these because for samples, and they have been varnished. You can see they're varnished. So these are 3 by 4. What are they? I just have to measure everything, so I forget. 3 by 4. They're a little bigger than ATCs. So I like telling little stories with collage and mixed media. And then here's this one we did. We did this one's not varnished yet, but we did this one on the show a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And there's just different ones that I've kept a few of. Most of the time when I make these, I give them away on the show. I'll do a batch of them just for fun. So here's another. This is another one we did on the show. So, yeah. So art cards, you can do that. So I'm going to show you some different ways that you can art journal and make your mixed media. And that way you can have different options and different sizes. Some people like to work really, really small. I like, this is the same, pretty much size of the art cards, and they're in just different stages. So whether you do something in a small little mini comp book or in, a nicer, these are the leather ones I would keep for a year at a time, whether you do it in that or something like this, it's the same process. And I have tons and tons of art playlist for the different ones. So you kind of have to find what size you like to work in. Do you like working little? Do you like, do you like painting? Do you like collaging? Do you like to paint? Do you like to collage things down and then go back and paint? That's what these are. They're just little bits of leftover collage fodder, and then I'll go in and scrape paint. Hi, Christine. Go in and just make up a little story to go with it. And the thing is half of them aren't really anything or done. Some of them are further along than others, but you can't be afraid just to, look, there's just a bottle, bottle top, and just whatever's left over, and then go in and paint on it, or scrape some paint, blend some paint, and just essentially you're doodling with paint. So you could do something this small, and I've got a few of those just in different stages. And this one started falling apart, but I just started taping it together. These are just little, 50-cent comp books that you get like during when school starts. So you might be able to come across those pretty easy right now with school supplies out. And again, I have like 6 of these. I'm looking up, there may be more because I've deconstructed a couple of them. But these are the leather ones that you could get at Barnes & Noble. This one's from 2012. And let's see what year this one was. This one was 2000. This one's 2011. I don't want my phone number there, but this one's from 2011. And it's just different. Got a bookmark in here. Just different things that I've put together that I like and painted them in. So I'm not going to go through every single page because then we would only do a couple of books. Kind of want to just show different options. So so you can glue things in, leftover paint on a palette, and then just go in and scrape it off. Or like here, look, this is leftover stencils that I inked another project. So you spray your stencils, and then your stencils are full of ink, right? So you take that and just smash it in your book, and then you can, then maybe later go back and glue something in, go back and paint something in, just play in it. So the thing about doing this kind of journals, though, is some people can't leave pages undone. It's hard for them just to work on something and then move on and not have stuff done. And if that's the case, then it's probably not an idea for you. But it doesn't bother me to work in multiple journals and multiple pages and have some pages done. And then, like I said, here's a section right here in the middle that we didn't finish. And just go back and work on it. And then they may or may not ever really truly be finished. Hi, Juanita. Just showing some art journaling. So, and they might have meanings to me, but y'all know how I feel about the stories in them for the most part. Now, the Garden of Eden thing was kind of obvious, but I had to have that as a start of my 21 posters because that's where it started, right? So I had to do, pretty obvious, but something that big, 22 by 29. But, I have ideas behind these things, but that doesn't mean that I share it all with you, because then what I like is for you to look at the piece and see what, what's in your imagination, what comes to mind to you when you see it. And that's how, when I go to a museum or look at any kind of art, it's like, what do I see in it? Because what I'm going to see in it is what's inside of me. And what you see in, say, Salvador Dali or something, you're going to might see a total different story. Now, he might have had and probably did have a very specific thing or theme or story in mind when he created it, but unless he described it or told it, then it's up to you to try to determine what you see in it. So yeah. So anyway, these are some of the ones that I've done in this book here. And so here's an example of, and some of y'all that have been around for a long, long time, you're going to hear some of the same things repeated. But I'm going to show you some of the different kind of techniques. All right, so for instance here, I don't put a lot of people in. Sometimes I will in these kind of journals because they're leftovers, right? So I'll put them in these kind of journals. But for the most part, in my big art journals and big collage, sometimes I'll put a person in it in a doorway or where it really needs something, or someone goes, can you put a person in it? I'll do it for you guys. I'll throw a person in it. But for the most part, I want you to be the person in the piece. So when you're looking at it, I want you to be the person that's in the story, not me putting a person in there. You are the person in the story. Hi, Kathy Berg, just talking about some art journals this morning. So here's a little inspiration creativity tip. And I have my different, I pulled these out before. Let's see here. I don't have many. I think I have two old fashion magazines, and I keep them for certain purposes. But I want to show you what can happen when you're going through a magazine and you tear something out. Look at what is on the other side. Like this one may work. I mean, look at what happens. Like, let's say I liked your face. Now look, there's a whole nother thing going on here. So when you tear something out, look at what happens. Look at what happens when you tear something out and see what it becomes. Your sister keeps asking, what does it mean? Well, what does it mean to her? What does it mean? What does she see in it? You see, what does it mean to her? So look at that. See how that happened? What happened there? And so what happened with this is the same kind of thing. I pulled out one face right here and tore it out, and this face was behind it. So, or vice versa. I don't remember which one I was pulling. But look at that. Look how that just works. So I had to just tear that whole section out and glue it down somewhere, because it just look how perfect that turned out. So that's what happens when you do stuff like that, where you'll tear something out and then look at what happens on the other page. Okay, so that's if you just go, I don't know what to do. I don't have any inspiration. I don't have any ideas. Well, that's one thing you can do with the magazine. The other thing I want to show is, I know I'm going to have a big pile next to me at the end of the day, is if you're trying to learn how to sketch and draw. And of course, I've got 1,000 different art books that I've shown you guys. And there's a art book playlist. But another way to practice is to take some tracing paper. I got a stack. We haven't done this in a while, but I'll show you the gist of it. Take some tracing paper and a Sharpie marker, and a fashion magazine, and practice seeing shapes. So when you trace over the models, you're going to see so many things that if you're not used to drawing, and you're not used to drawing from live people, you're going to see so many things that it's going to surprise you. For one, it's going to surprise you. For instance, look, her foot and her knee, look, there's big as her face. You're going to see how different angles and different different what's the word I'm looking for? Not angles, but anyway, I'm gone off on a tangent here doing the art thing. So, but if you take a Sharpie marker, let's see if I can find something here, an old-fashioned magazines, and you know just trace them and or go around them with markers and see where things lie, where they look at her eyes, look where her eyes are. A lot of people will draw a face and they'll go like, here's some bangs, and then there's their eyes. Well, really their eyes should be down here. You know what I'm saying? But if you do stuff like with the marker, find their shoulders, their elbows, their wrists, start finding the shapes in things. It's going to you like this kind of tangent, you're going to discover things, like I said, when you trace them. So this is just, I kept some because we do this every now and then, but like just to remind you of how you can take some tracing paper, a Sharpie marker, and a fashion magazine, and develop and hone your drawing skills with that system or with that method. Okay, so I'm going to try to kind of pick up as I go because it's going to start piling. It's so easy to pile in here. And I just cleaned off my desk. So, hi Mama 4. Anybody else I miss? Susie. Yoon, I'm not sure. Welcome. Owlcat. Okay, so there, I'm just going to show you a couple maybe of each kind. So this is, the desk journals. And I did these. I did one of these every year for 6 or 7 years. So I've got a whole bunch of these. So again, see, this is the kind of thing I'm telling you I have so much of. I have so much of this stuff. So there's those kind. And I'm just kind of looking around and trying to do different ones. These are my most recent ones that I've been working on. So I pulled those to like kind of start from here, kind of go backwards. Other than my big posters and my abandoned books, and I'm not going to pull those out. If you want to see my abandoned collages, the abandoned book alterations, there's a whole playlist with those. And I show them a lot. People ask me questions, so I pull those out a lot. And so I've been working on the posters. And like, here's even a bigger one. And y'all know I like drawing my big animals too. So just different things we do here. But like here's a big poster. I can't even get it all on camera. It's bigger than the other ones that I've done. So you can see this one has some people in it. And so I keep some of these big ones rolled up. Hi, Bacola. Good morning. I'm just kind of going through different art journals, and I might stop and work on some here or there. Just if y'all have any questions on the techniques or anything, just ask, and we will talk about them. Let's see. Plus, I do a lot of my Society of Idea collecting. So, I've got, I can't even tell you how many 3-ring binders I have of ideas. So, there's, that's, I got all these different binders full of ideas. Like, see if I can just pull, I'm going to try to pull maybe one of each thing I talk about, or one or two. So, I have my big 3-ring binders like this with ideas in them. And they're all tabbed and filed by subject. So I can't even tell you how many of these. I like to count them, but yeah. Anyway, I've got those. And that's for collecting ideas. But these are probably the most recent thing I've worked in, and my Jane books. My Jane Davenport books. Let's see. Let's make another pile. I've got two of these binders that have Jane Davenport and junk journal. So it's like my Jane junk journal. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I just did this one a couple weeks ago. This one has swatches and vintage, and it's a whole binder full of junk journal and Jane. And then Jane's other two books, the mermaid one and the other one, I think not Faces, but anyway, one of her other ones. I have those in another binder or sketchbook. Hi, Gail. Julie says butterfly books, have 3 of them. Butterfly books. You mean this? I'm not sure which ones you're talking about, butterfly books. Julie. Could you show her books? Oh, thanks, Teresa. So there's those kind of journals. I'm trying to keep putting things back as I go, so I don't get. Then the other thing that I have is lots and lots and lots of just. Let me see if I can pull a couple. Well, let's do these first, and I'll work my way back. So we'll see how much time we have to go back 10 years, 10 years since I've been streaming. So I love my TNs. I have tons of TNs. My TNs, my traveler's notebooks, these 3 are the 3 that I keep in this one because these are the 3 I'm working on or working in. But I have all different ones that I use for writing, journaling. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, 7 or 8. 7 or 8 TNs that I work in for different purposes. So some are writing ones, some are art ones. So I just have different ones for different purposes. These are the ones that this is what I've been working in the most recent. So that's why I pulled these. Let's see. Ready for grandbaby number 3 and about. Oh, congratulations, Mama 4. Mama 4 is getting ready to have grandbaby number 3. Hi, P Money. I missed you seeing you last time you were here. Want to work, but want to stop by and hit the like button and say good to see you. Thank you, P Money. Tell Ruth I said hi. Well, I don't know if she's with you, but next time when you see Ruth, tell her I said hi. Tell her she needs to pop back in here. Tell her to come back and hang out with us. Hi, Nichols. Let's see. I'm trying to say. Remember, guys, if you want to say anything to me or get called, shouted, a question answered, put it in caps. I won't think you're yelling at me. I did clean out my closet and my drawers, dresser drawers yesterday. Like I said, Hubster and I did some cleaning yesterday. And I found my Tweedledee and Tweedledum shirt I had worn since probably, I don't know, last winter or a year ago. So I pulled it out to put on. I said, I got to wear my Tweedledee and Tweedledum shirt today. So I pulled that out when I cleaned out the closets. So I will show you these that I'm working in. And then I'm also working in 2 sizes of Arteza or Arteza, however you want to say it. I'm working in 2 of these different sizes, and it's all kind of the same thing. What makes something a junk journal? probably if you're well, for me, I would describe it as when you use a lot of, like, all right, this one. I'm using a lot of just random pieces of paper that are left over. If you have junk mail, so I have these little ribbon things here, um, pieces of like an old sticker, or just scraps of paper, or just junk where it's just it's not anything specific, and I'm just throwing it in here. Now what I will do, though, go back and work on those pages, just like I showed you in my desk journals. I wouldn't call those necessarily junk journals, but they were leftovers. So when I had anything left over, scraps of collage, scrapes of paint that are left over on my palette that I didn't want to just let harden and go to waste, I would scrape them in my desk journals. Now I could do the same kind of thing with all of these. But these I'm also making little stories and little pages out of, right? This one seems these three, it seems like I used quite a few stickers and collage things just because I like them. So you could call them a decorated glue book, because I like gluing little things in like this. For me, though, I don't if I do a full-on glue thing, it's going to be something like this. And then what I'll do is go back and paint on it. I rarely do just a solid glue book where I just glue things in and leave it. For me, I have to go back and paint a story in if I want to feel like it's done. Now, of course, obviously, I'm not that far ahead, But I rarely, and I have a few where I've done back in the day, Tangi Baxter, 15, 20 years ago, whenever it was that, she first did the composition book, glue book. I did a few of those back in the day. But so if I do any kind of gluing down of things that I like, I usually go back and paint them in. So you can see here where I've started painting some. Some just have nothing, they all have paint on them by this point, but they're not finished stories. So I could go back and just open this up at any page. And this one I punched holes in. I just like the idea of being able to see through to the other side. So all but a couple have holes punched in it just to make it more interesting. And hi, Kenny. How you doing? And so I can go in here and work on these at any time with just some paint and start, developing something out of these. Because I can see worlds. I can see different worlds. And so it's not hard for me to do that. And I know that it's not easy for everybody, but I think the more you do mixed media collage, the easier it becomes. And then if you just want to make an imaginary world, or if you want to do, something like these big posters that are more real, more realistic, like this, or my garden here, if you want to do something more real, and then paint. See, all this is paint. All those little leaves in there are all painted in. The big ones here are the collage ones, but all these little ones are all painted in. And, then if you want to make a theme with something specific in mind, then you can do that, So those are my big, these are my big projects. And I think I'm probably going to work on those on Sunday afternoons. So sometimes I might record. So anyway, let's see. Do I need to zoom in maybe one? Because most of these are pretty little. We can there we go. That's better. So you can see this one just has paint scraped on there and different bits of collage. But I can go in here. This can easily be a door here. And of course, I punched holes in all of them, just because I thought it would be cool to be able to see through to the next world. But look, see how it's just kind of scraped in there and kind of a glue book-esque. But then I go in and I repaint them. with just acrylic craft paint. I could extend these clouds out, put my watch hands. And so these pages I'm showing here, where you see a lot of scrapey paint, these are just laid out. They're not really even nothing done to them yet. Okay. But I'm just trying to show you different stages and versions. This one, you see, I started painting more. Started painting the area, the blue, the purple. This one's more painted. See the difference between this one? See how it's real scrapey and just kind of choppy? And then this one's starting to smooth out. So it's starting to take shape more. And then here's one that's done. So the other thing that I recommend or give advice to when you're trying to do mixed media collage is you can't be afraid to paint something out. You can glue all these different things down just because it attracts you and you think, oh, I like that with this. I like those colors. I like the way that's going. But, then like I'm doing these little stairs here. Well, if some of this is in my way, then I would just paint it away. Don't be afraid to paint things out, to get rid of things. Just because you glued it down at some point you thought it might work, don't be afraid to say I don't need that in that story, right? So here's another one that's just all, see how it's just a hot mess? A lot of times I will also do colors. So I have certain colors I really like, but you can see, if you pick 2 or 3 colors and kind of stick with that, if you notice, look at through this whole book, there's the colors. It's like a main color and then secondary colors. But I have a main color to work with. So if I don't have 50 colors, there's 50 colors on the page, but I pick a color or 2. Like this one, I'd pick probably purple, orange, and maybe a golden color. So you can see here, same thing, yellow and blue, purple and pink, and orange and green and yellow, purple and pink. Okay, Pacola, yellow. So if you have a color, it helps it be cohesive. So when you start painting in a story, it'll be more cohesive if you have a main color or 2. I don't seal these, Tracy, but I do try to eventually will seal all my abandoned book pages. But I don't do them immediately. Like I say, okay, I think this one's done. But you've seen when I flip through my abandoned book pages, I seal them. You've seen some sealed. And I will show you the sealer I use. Any water-based, and I like gloss. I glue things down with matte medium, with golden matte medium. So everything is matte at the onset and the gluing and the painting. But then when I go to seal everything, I seal it with the gloss exterior interior varnish. It's a water-based by Ceramcoat Delta. It doesn't have to be this brand, but whatever you do, get a water-based sealer. You don't want an oil-based. It's going to be sticky. It's going to take forever to dry. You want a water-based. And what I like about this, I have found, as long as I let it dry, like overnight before I close a book, I never have these stick. I never have any stickage with this. Also, speaking of your pages sticking, if you use craft paint, I use the Americana Deco Art matte. It's not gloss. It's not shiny, although I do use some gold sometimes, and I'll edge the gold. But, you have to be careful. You got to make sure stuff is 100% dry, or you're going to start gluing things together. The same thing with a napkin journal. Okay, so this is my newest version of a napkin journal. and it always sounds, I've already gone through it this morning, so it doesn't sound as bad. But when you first open up a napkin journal, it sounds like everything's stuck together. Well, the reason for that is because the napkin has a texture. Okay. The napkins have texture. It's kind of like Velcro when two textured things stick together. I've not really had them rip or anything, but I've glued them down with golden matte medium. But at the same time, there's still texture. There's still texture to the napkin journals. So if you let them set for any length of time, or if you have them like I do, smashed in bookcases, jammed in bookcases, and you pull them out and you haven't opened them for a while, the napkin journal will sound like you've stuck everything together, but it's not stuck. It's just the texture of the napkin. Okay, so this is like my newest napkin journal. Y'all have seen my old one. I'll try to pull some things as I go. Although my big posters are right here. Let me move them. My 21 posters, they're right here in the way. So. But I want to show you guys a lot of options. So there's something for everybody in art journaling. There's some way you can, and even if you just have a TN that you want to do sketching in. You know, we just did last 2 weeks ago, I think, we started doing our nature journaling sketchbook. Well, you don't have to have a big sketchbook or a sketch pad to do that if you don't want, if you just want to carry something small. So there's just so many different ways to keep and be creative, use your imagination and draw and paint and collage. There's just so many different ways. So this is my old napkin journal. And as you know, well, we haven't worked in it in a while, but I try to use my Juliet Crane girls in this one. Although this one's a girl from a color book, and I was speaking of color books. Now listen here. See if I can get one to kind of. Here we go. See, they're not really sticking, but it's the texture. It's the texture of the napkins. So these are all based on. Hi, Diane. These are all based using decorative napkins, right? And I like to use my little Juliet Crane girls or animals, and then the rest is all paint. So these right here are Jane Davenport. No, maybe. It might be a Jane Davenport. That might be a color book. I think there's a Jane Davenport napkin girl in here. So this is a little elf from a color book. So you can use your color book images as part of your art journaling. Oh, here's the Jane one. This is the Jane Davenport napkin girls. But I made a whole page of like goddesses. And and it's just all painted in. So and it's just craft paint. Let me try to get to some of the pages that are. Again, these are all napkins in the background. She's a fairy out of a color book. And make sure, I'm going to tell you the tips as I go when they occur to me. Like, don't cut her out and glue her in over the top of a textured napkin and then try to color her, because you will be picking up the texture of the napkin. If you use any color book elements in one of your a napkin journal, especially where it's highly textured, you need to color it before you glue it in, and then cut it out and glue it in, because otherwise when you start color penciling in, you're going to pick up the texture, right? You're going to pick up the texture of the napkin. Oh, you like the sound of it? Yeah, it is kind of an ASMR moment, isn't it? So these, as you can see, I've got napkins glued down here ready for more work to be done. Again, it doesn't bother me to go from journal to journal, not finish a journal, go back and work on one, maybe just glue down the napkins one day, and then the next day or a week or a month later, come back and do a page. But I know not everybody can do that. I know some people you can't leave a page until it's done. But that's never been a problem with me, and that's probably why I have so many different journals, because I work on so many different ones at the same time. This one has some glitter on it. Another Juliet Crane. And then, so anyway, this one's getting pretty full. There's still places I could add more things to it. But I just said, well, I'm going to go ahead, and I had some new napkins. So I started a new napkin journal in a little traveler's notebook. So this is Jane's, some of her napkins. And then I just painted and doodled all over them. And like I said, these three are the three I'm working in now. So they just all go in here. They're not the same thing. They're different, but they're the ones I'm working on now. So I keep them in there. So again, this one is the one that has just different stages of scrape paint and just random glue book kind of things. I say random. They're kind of random, but I kind of like to pick colors or a little bit of a theme or something. But then what I'll do is it ends up, a lot of it gets painted out. So there's that one that I'm currently working in. And then the napkin one, which just got different stages. I don't think I've done more than a couple pages in the new one, other than gluing the napkins down, I mean. There's a Jane one. I love this one. So this one had this black a napkin. I just painted the rest of it out. So I painted it to the edges wherever the napkin didn't go. You can probably see where it ended. And then I just took a Posca and extended out the branches and outlined some things with a white Posca. And I don't know what I'll do with it yet. I don't have to. See, I don't feel compelled to say, oh, I've got to do. I just don't. If I'm working on this, I say, oh, I think it needs some white leaf. I'll just go start drawing white leaves. And then sometimes it doesn't develop into anything. But what it does do is it stirs your imagination. It gets your creative juices flowing. It gets you thinking about ideas. And my other biggest tip that I can tell you is keep some kind of a Society of Idea Collector notebook, a composition book, a TN, a 3-ring binder. I always start everything on Post-it note. Well, not everything, but anytime if I was doing something, an idea came to me, I would write it down on a Post-it note. Then that Post-it note information can get transferred over to other Society of Idea. That's just what I call all my idea books now. My Society of Idea Collector notebooks, where I can then develop more of an idea, more of a theme or list or a mind map or whatever comes to me, when I'm doing it. But I don't try to do this. Try not to censor yourself when you're coming up with ideas. Some idea comes up to you and you're thinking, oh, that paint and the napkin. So black acrylic paint with white Posca designs. Okay. That may really be something I never had thought of before, something new, or I don't want to forget that. So I write this down. And even if I just took this for now and threw it in my current Society of Idea collection notebook or TN or whatever comp book or whatever I'm working at the moment, if I threw this in there, then at least I know I have that written down. The second benefit of doing something like this, of writing the idea, now I don't have to think about this all day. Because then I'll close this book and I'll go, oh man, what was it I was going to do with that black paint with the white Posca? I knew there was something. And what book was that in? And then your whole mind and all your energy and creativity is going to try to remember what it was that you liked about this. How do you cover parts of the napkin that's too dummy that you can't see with you paint over it. You just paint over it. Yeah, just paint right over it. Yeah, you don't like something, you just paint right over it. And that's not just napkins, but that is any of your collage books. And I'll work in a couple here in a minute. These are my most recent ones that I pulled first, although I have gone back and showed you some of the old stuff. But I want to show you as many art journaling ideas and art journaling techniques and art journals themselves. So you can work anywhere from those little mini composition books to those huge posters I'm working on, right? So, and if you, it depends on what you like. Do you like having something with you all the time? Can you leave some piles of books in your art space where you can leave your paint out and work on them as you want? Or, are you one that you have to finish a page before you go on? Um, a lot of it's going to depend on your own personality. And I can tell you what I do and give you tips, but you're going to have the passion for it, and you're going to have to do what you like, and what works for you. Hi, Jane. Anybody else I missed? Del Lobo. So, but if you write it down, if you think you're, and most of the time you are going to forget. You will forget. Tomorrow, I'm not going to remember that. Well, I will because I'm talking about it, but I would not remember. Let's don't forget to use the black. And here's, all right. So this was what occurs to me. These remind me of Japanese kimonos, which I've done a book on before. I mean, my own, not, just my own book. So I might have some other book or other place where it could be in here. But I've got so many different places I can do it. Let's just take this junk journal here. So I think, well, I don't want to forget that design that's in my head. So let's go ahead and let's just put a little black paint down. I don't want to forget that pattern that's in my head. Now let me get a baby wipe. Hang on. Clean my hands off. Because I can picture this design. Now, I've done this design before, so it's not just occurring to me. I'm going to just say that, right? I've done this design before, but I'm just giving you an example. So I have this junk journal here where I could throw whatever ideas I want in for that month or that week or whatever. And I think, oh man, these little triangles would look good like this. I could see a whole pattern with just these little triangles in little sets of 3. So I will stop and take the time. And I know different people are at different stages in life. You got kids you're raising. You got, there's all kinds of things going on in people's lives. There were times in my life there would be no way I'd have time to do this. I work full time raising my kids, and just had to squeeze in and eke out any little time of artistic creativity I could. I've been fortunate, being raised in the military and married in the military, we moved all the time. I think I've moved 30 times and I've probably had 30 jobs in my life. Fortunately, some of the ones that are the longer jobs I've had have been creative, like visual merchandising, decorating department stores. And, so I've had different creative jobs. I work for a cross-stitch company where I design cross-stitch patterns. I've had a few, but then there's also been times I've worked at a credit union. I've worked at an office supply store. I've worked at, sales, I've worked, part-time restaurant jobs to make extra money at Christmas. So, I've always worked until the kids were gone and grown, and I went back to college, and then I had some health things, and so anyway, now I do this full time because I can. But I understand too, not everybody can do this all day long, like I can now. But I also know that there was a time when I couldn't do it. Worked in advertising, worked in layouts and doing catalogs. And so there's been creative jobs in between. All right. So off that rabbit trail. So if I didn't write this down, if I didn't stop and do this, do you think that tomorrow I'll remember that pattern in my head? If I do remember that pattern in my head tomorrow, it's because I've thought about it until tomorrow. And if you're thinking about it until tomorrow, that's all you're going to think about, which not necessarily a bad thing. If that's how you develop things, you stick to one thing until you've got it, solved, right? I like to go hopping all around my rabbit trails, but I have to write them down or I will forget them. So this is just my little junk journal that I can do stuff like that in now. For the most part, like I said, I will write ideas down on Post-it notes, and then the Post-it notes go into either 3-ring binders or other places where I keep my ideas, which there are a lot of them. There are a lot of places. Okay, so back to the little napkin journal here. So I've got the napkins kind of glued down. We did this little page on stream one day. Made up a little story, and Debbie said, Devin or Debbie, no, if lost, please return to Devin or Debbie. So somebody said that, and so we just made a little tag and just had some fun with. But these are all different napkins that I've glued down, and they can be developed or have different things added to them. Now, speaking of having things added to your pages, like the other napkin journal I showed you where I used Juliet Crane, you can use whatever color book or clip art book. Hubster's back, the garage is opening. And this is a perfect example of an inexpensive. This book was $3.99 at Tuesday morning. And you can still get these kind of books, or if you probably have tons of them laying around. Hi, MB, Mary Beth, where there's all kinds of images, just random images. These are the perfect kind of books. Let's wait for the garage. These are the perfect kind of books that you can cut out or, tear things out and put them in a book to start a book. A junk journal, an art journal, a TN, or whatever. So, if you find something you like, or your Flow magazines, or your Paper Lover books, you just want to get something started. These are perfect to just find a page in one of, and I go through here and I'll scrape paint or just baby white paint in here. So it's a little too big. So let's trim it down just a little. Maybe I want to tear. So, you could put, I'm just kind of giving you some examples, right? So you can use these kinds of color books or these kind of multimedia books. And there's a lot of kids' books that have these kind of things in them. And so you can you can fussy cut too, obviously. You can fussy cut these out and color them and use, look how cool that looks. That would be a very cool fussy cut out image to use in one of your journals, right? And so some of them seem very simple, but if you color these butterflies in, and if you want them to match whatever page you're working on, or if you just want these in your napkin journal, you could color and cut these out and put them in your napkin journal and start a whole, story. Have a story in your head, whether or not you explain it to anybody or tell anybody what it is. At least you have a story in your head. It's up to you whether you describe it, tell people about it, or share it, or whatever. That's up to you. But at least have a story in your head. There's a little piece of fabric that I glued one of those leaves on, just as a little bookmark in here. Okay, so napkin journals, whatever size. There can be a small TN. It could be a sketchbook. It could be a mixed media, Canson mixed media spiral book, right? Here's one where I've just glued down things. And all right, well, this one is a little bit more specific because this has a little bit of a faith journal vibe to it. So what I've done in this one is I start, and here's another way to start one. There's just so many ways you can start these. Is I started by gluing different things down, like let's just say this right here. Okay. I glued random little flowers and animals. There's a little abide sticker there and all kinds of florals. And then how I started with this is kind of like a whitewash technique. So what I started with this one is I did all the pages. I glued something down on glued stuff down on every page. Y'all want to see this? You want me to take a minute to show this technique before I go on? Maybe I should do that because y'all are gonna get bored. Y'all might get bored just looking at this all day. So, and I did work on this one a little bit when Hut was on. This is one of the ones that I worked on. This is one of the ones that I worked on because I didn't have to overthink it while I could interview the Hut. Last Thursday. Oh, and speaking of last Thursday, Janet and I, we started doing. I'll just get some gesso out. You can use white acrylic paint, just whatever you have. Janet and I want to start doing interviews, maybe not every Thursday, but we wanted to do them, our usual time that I come on, like 8:39. We did not know that Mary Autier on Thursdays went until 10 Eastern. She usually gets done at 8:30 or 9. We did not know that she, on Thursdays, the only day that she goes late is on Thursday. So we are moving up our interview show on Thursdays to 10 Eastern. We did not know we were stepping over on Mary because we just thought she's ended like she does all her morning shows at 8:30 or 9, somewhere right in there. So we are moving up. We are moving up our interview Thursday. And again, it may or may not be every Thursday. We'll just see how if we get guests, right? But to 10 a.m. Eastern. So last week we came on at 9, but now we're moving it up to 10. So we don't, so Mary can go to 10. Okay. Just want to say that we did not mean to step on Mary. We did not do that on purpose. We just did not know she was on Thursdays until 10. Okay. So what you can start with here, they're all really gone further, but I'll just kind of give you an example. So what I did on this one is after I glued things down in the book, sometimes this is it's more nature themed than anything, I would say, but there's some other little doolollies, little elements in there too. But what you can do is leave that there. Yeah, thanks, honey. Take your a palette knife and white paint. Maybe I should step in one more here. There we go. If y'all have any questions, put it in caps. I discovered this week that you can laminate a napkin and use it in collage. But when you laminate it, then you can't work on it. It's shiny and glossy, right? So I'm not sure, Abigail. You mean when you're done with it? Because if you laminate it, then you can't pencil on it. That's one of the reasons I use golden matte medium to glue things, is because then you can do pencil and other things on top of it. Hey, Hut, there's the Hut. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Hut? So thanks everybody that's been following the Comic Book Hut on YouTube and on Facebook. So specifically Facebook, he's really been doing a lot more on his Facebook videos over on Facebook. So follow the Comic Book Hut over there. And then also he has his show, The Baseball Hut. And Hut, I thought if he ever does, I don't know that you love football. I'm over sports at this right now. But anyway. If you had a football channel, you could call it Hut Hut. Yeah, if you had a football channel, Hut Hut. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So anyway, you take the white and you can and kind of just make a texture. Make a texture and start to blend things cohesively with the white. So I just, this particular book, I'm kind of doing this like whitewash thing where I'm kind of blending. Now, I've already done this, so I don't want to overdo it because I've already done this on I think most of the pages, if not all of them. So you Desert Nana got it. And so you can start blending things in with white paint or white gesso, right? And there's a reason you're doing it in white. I'll show you here in just a second. Okay, so you can do like a whitewash technique. Well, I was looking at. Oh my gosh! Whoops! There we go. Good one, Hut. All right, so now I'm going to take, and I don't want to waste this, so I'm going to find another page to use this on. So now I'm going to take my heat gun and dry this because I'm going to show you the next step. Oh, I could probably use some of that in the next step too. Now you can do, hang on. You can do this next step with multiple different mediums. I got these Jane crayon things a while back. So that's not quite dry yet. But you could use Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons, or you could just go straight into paint. All right. But you can use just use whatever you have. So now that I've got this, and again, I don't think it's, let me dry it just a little more. Now I'll pick some of the colors. These are just really some, basic with a couple of kind of cool colors in it. But now I'll go in here and I'll scribble in some paint. Again, it can be crayons. It can, not regular crayons, but water soluble Neocolor 2s. It can be your any kind of water soluble kind of crayons, or like I said, just go straight to your acrylic paint. But this is just kind of a fun way to do it. So I'm going to put a few colors down here, and you can always go back and lighten and whiten anything back out a little bit. But I'm just going to put like maybe 3 colors here. So if you have the Neocolor 2s, which I have those as well, I could do that with them. It'll do the same thing. Okay. So now I've got all these colors down. And now I'm going to take some water and my gesso that I already have squirted out here. Then add a little water to the side. I'm not really spraying it right into the gesso. I'm kind of off to the side. And now I'll get a paintbrush. Is this fun, guys? See, I'm already all into this now. All into it. Let me get a brush that's kind of, here, let me bring some over here. I want a brush that's kind of, I love angle brushes, but it needs to be a little bit stiff because you're going to kind of want to dig into it. So you don't want too soft of a brush. Bye, G. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Lady True North Jan. There was something I saw on IG of yours that I really like, Lady Jan. Okay, so now I've got the water, so I can either start with the water or maybe a little bit of the gesso watered down. And usually I start, let me get a baby wipe again. Usually I'll start with the light color, but it doesn't really matter as long as you clean your brush in between, because if you start going first into this pink, then into the yellow, you're going to, muddy up the yellow. So it just depends. So now I've got water and gesso on my brush, and now I can start blending it out. And I'm just kind of going, we can go right over these little lizards here and just keep getting water and a little bit of gesso. And this is one of those things where I do take my time. I'm not usually doing this kind of project very often on a stream. So I'm just kind of enjoying the process. I might be listening to somebody else's video in the background and just want to chill. And so I'll just kind of work on one of these a little bit of faith type journaling. And I'll flip through the book here in just a minute. So just kind of, but because it's got the whitewash on it is how come these colors stay crisp and vibrant, right? Okay, Riri, hi. Hi, Noni. Anybody else I missed? Said hi to Gail, Kim. All right, so I'm going to keep, now I might go up here in the orange and see how chill this is. Probably chill for everybody but Hut. But thanks for stopping by, Hut. We'll have to have you back on again. You were so interesting to talk to and watch you work on your art on last Thursday. So I'm just going to go through here and maybe do all the orange. And if something gets too dark, just pick up some of the white gesso again, and then you can mute it back. Or you can wait till it's dry. You dry it with the heat gun or whatever. You can wait till you dry it and then, lighten it back up again. So right now I'm just kind of it's just kind of a general like nature kind of feel to these theme, kind of a nature themed decorations, right? So, and you can do whatever type of theme you like. You could do these all in different quotes or word definitions or anything you want to study. If you want your kids to be interested in learning something. I just found out Boo is taking forensics, and not that she would take the time to do this in an art journal, but she, I'm just saying there's just all kinds of topics that you can cover. Yes, I do art pretty much every day, unless I'm going like up to see Denise and, if we're doing, out, if I have Christmas shopping to do or, I have other things to do family wise. Yesterday, I did work on my big Eden poster, but I also cleaned out my closet and my dresser drawers, and Hubster was doing the same. We have there's I'm sure everybody has it in their neighborhood, a place that picks up your used clothing, to donate, and they'll come to your driveway and pick it up. I don't know if everybody's got that, but we do. So we just call them and they'll come get the stuff that we donate. So you can see here how it kind of just comes along. And again, I would just sit here and chill and just listen to some, like, watching somebody. So you can kind of see how it's coming along. Hi, Devin. And I have done I saw someone say diamond painting. I have done a couple diamond paintings. I just don't have the time to do those because y'all see what everything else I do. I've done a few, 2.5 of them, and I framed them and gave them to Boo. I picked things that she would like for her room. But I just don't have the time. And it is a little eye strain. They are very tiny, and you all know I wear trifocals. It's just, it's a little tough. But I'll probably do a few more over time. Because I did enjoy them. When it's a sense of accomplishment when you get, make progress on them. You feel like you've really you've gone far and accomplished something. Okay, so now let's, I need a little bit more water. I'm going to blend this one in here just a little bit. And again, you can make it a faith, you can make it just a nature, like Lady True North Jan. She does those tags and adds information about the different flowers, herbs. You could do a whole book on herbs, Oh, thank you, Lauren. You could, do it whatever theme you want. All right, so let me dry this now. Now remember, it is water-soluble stuff you're putting on, but if you're mixing it with the acrylic, then it's going to be less water soluble as it dries. But that's provided you covered every area with it, right? Christine, it's definitely getting harder to work. Yeah. It's not that I can't do it. It's not fun if your eye straining. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit more wash here and there. Maybe a little bit more yellow. Oh, so what I want to also show you now is you can also at this stage take other paints. Let me just grab some yellow here to show you. You can take little dabs of paint if you want to continue to add more, brighter colors or more color. You can also go back in there with your sticks, but I like the sticks for just that initial wash, and then go back with acrylic paint, which is a little bit more, well, it is less, it won't move with water once it dries, and it's a little more opaque. So, and you can do some of it with watercolor, then go back in here and add your, acrylics, mix it with some of your gesso or white paint, whichever. So you kind of see where it's going. I won't sit here and do the whole thing, but I'll do a couple of little areas just so you can kind of, and then you can just keep working. Don't be afraid to get your fingers in there and get out other paint colors that you might want to expand on. You could do splatters. You could do drips. You could have the drips coming down. You could do the splatters. In this book, I'm really not doing that. I have done a little bit of let's do maybe a little bit of a streak of a cloud here coming across. Let's put a little cloud going in here. Just a little bit of that white gesso or paint. I usually just use paint, but I had this white gesso when I bought it on clearance some time ago, so got to use it. Got to use it up. But I find not too much difference between a thick white acrylic paint and gesso. I can kind of do the same kind of things. Okay, so a little bit of, and keep going. You could add some sun rays. All right, let's dry. And in this book, what I'm doing is all the edge. I'm not going to do it now because if I do it now, when you edge something with the gold, I pick it up with my finger. I just pick the gold paint up with my finger and run it along the edges. But it's a little thick when I do that, and it takes a little longer to dry. And then I won't be able to do a flip through this book because I'll stick those pages together. But normally in this book, I'm edging every single page with gold. So you can do that. It doesn't have to be gold. It could be black. It could be silver. It could be copper, or not anything at all. It could be white edges, or just leave it not edged. Most of the time I don't edge anything, but in this book, I just like the idea of gold edges. So I'm edging everything with gold in this one. And then I have the little abide here. So I might want to extend that over to, let's just put it up here in the clouds. So just write. You can write in, write in it. You can write whole quotes, whole sentences. You can do whatever you want. Maybe have some I don't think this white paint's quite dry yet, but have some sun rays coming out behind the clouds. You just, play with it. It's, it's your journals and your journey. Okay, so again, this cover, I painted this cover and varnished it. It was black with stars, and I said I really wanted this to be more nature themed. So I went ahead and recovered the stars. I have a lot of stars on a lot of things, but in this one I wanted like nature themed elements, and rather than outer space and dimension and time and that kind of thing. So what I did was recovered this. I just glued another paper on there and covered up the old one so that it was more nature based scrapbook paper. So, all right. So again, I have little quotes and little verses and things in it, and just little bits of nature peeking through. And some are further along than others. I can always go in. I can always go in and add more, paint things out, add things in. It's just, for me, it's like not really ever done. I can just keep going, you know. So little clouds on this one. Some go one way, some go another. And it's just little meaningful things to me. And so, and again, I'm outlining them all in gold, which takes a minute to dry. So here's one that's just got the whitewash on it. I haven't added any color to it. This is my hand carved piece, Hebrew piece, Shalom. I hand carved some stamps. Oh, I hand carved the whole alphabet actually in Hebrew, but this was one I actually carved an eraser and carved that out. So, and again, this one's a little further along. It doesn't have the gold edges yet, but I can extend any of this out and then write some things on here. Again, this one's got more of the whitewash. Oh, thanks, 3G. So I can come in here with like this and this maybe. And you don't have to, you can use, like I said, any kind of water soluble anything to do this part, just to add some more freedom to your journal so you're not too precious with it, precious. So I'm just going to go in here and cover up that sticker too much. You can use your Neo color too, or just go directly. You can just go directly in with your white paint and or gesso and a and paint, regular acrylic paint. Okay, so let's add a little bit more water here. And I'm just going to, this is why the white is at the base. So you can do this on top, because otherwise it's not going to be vibrant, because you're covering up different elements. Some are darker and, some are black and white. And if you try to cover that up with just regular, without the white being underneath, it's not going to be as vibrant. And I wanted these to be nice and vibrant. Maybe I'll put a little layer of that pink right over him. So this was the next kind of step, is just to kind of mush around some, and you can do this with watercolor on top of your white gesso. I just like the scribbly effect with the crayon type thing, but you could just do it with watercolors and then go back with your acrylic. Okay, so I'm just kind of with water and just maybe a little touch of the gesso, just smearing this all around. And I try to stick with one color at a time, then clean off my brush, and then go into another color. You can start to blend the colors, but if you just try to go like from the blue, the teal to the pink, you're going to just have a purple. You won't have distinctive colors that pop like that. And because it's watered down, either water-soluble crayons or watercolor or whatever, it's watered down, you can go right over your elements and they'll be translucent still. See how it's going? And you could write further. You could write full quotes or verses or anything on there. I've just been doing words, like a word or two. But you could do it as much as you want. And you can start kind of blending some of them together. So I won't continue, but you get the idea. So now that it's kind of got a cohesive color, you can stop. You can start continuously blending, and you can also take your um, uh, baby wipe. And if there's areas like there's some book text here, and I don't want to lose that, you can kind of wipe it back and kind of, depending on what's under it, but you can kind of blend or move things around or remove even. Okay. I could do all kinds of things with this or nothing. It doesn't have to be something. It just has to be pretty. Right? So here's some more pages that are just different stages. Got a few Francis Bacon quotes. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time, not just Francis Bacon, but I love this. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. I love that. Almost in every journal I'll write that. And then there's just some little little diamond things on there. So again, that's that's that one. So that's another way. Hi, CB. So that's these three. And again, this one is kind of the same, doing it the same kind of vein as the other one, except I'm not doing the whitewash. Okay. So instead of doing the whitewash, I just go straight to color, although there is white in some, but I just go straight to color on these, as you can see. So when I glued this stuff down, I and put the color on, it's like one or two main colors. And again, what I'll do is I'll take the images there and I'll blend them out and turn them into a little world like this. So leaving some things, but look how much, can you kind of imagine how much stuff I had to like just completely paint over? So don't be afraid to paint over things. Leave what you want, but don't be afraid to paint over things. And like there's some tree branches, I might extend those through there. And again, I did punch holes in all of these just so you can see through to the next one. But don't be afraid to paint over anything. So here's one that's finished that I painted over. I didn't like it. It wasn't too overly wet. I think it should be okay, but it is a good point to let things dry before you close the book. Yeah. It feels pretty dry. I mean, it's a little damp, but as long as I don't mash it, it's probably going to be fine. But yeah, you do want to let it dry, especially if you put gold or some thicker paint around the edges. If you put something thick around the edges, like gold paint, that's going to take a little bit more time to dry. All right, so these are the 3 TNs that I'm working in with this kind of paint and this kind of vibe. One's napkin, one is just different colors of a base, and then one has a white base. So that's 3 different techniques that I use for the TNs. Okay. Let's see. The other thing that I did not pull, and a lot of people are doing this right now, Kathy Berg, Colleen, I think Kathy Arbor was too. They're using their file folders. The same kind of processes that I've been showing you in these art journals, you can also do all those projects like I do on the art cards. You can do them in your file folders. I didn't pull any off my shelves, but me and Carrie Love used to do tons of collage mixed media file folders, and you can fold them up into pocket size where you can store little cards in them. You can fold them over. Let me see if I can just pull one. But there's tons of different ways you can use file folders as well. All right, here's a couple. Well, I'll just show this one. That's not painted, nothing's been done to it, but a way that you can take a file folder, just like this. This is just your standard file folder, like this. And you can fold it up. You can just open it up, fold about a third of the way up, like that, and fold it. And so now you have little pockets that you can store things in, your art cards. Now you're going to have to glue the edges because they're not sealed here. You can either fold this over or you can cut this off. Y'all know my, should I go get it? Do y'all want to see the big set that we made of these? I guess I could show that because it is another option. But lately, Colleen and Kathy have been using file folders occasionally, but Kathy Arbor has been using them more than anybody that I see at this time. But, we've all been using them forever and ever. Let me, all right, hang on. Let me just go grab it. It's in the other room because I don't have room for it here. Hang on. So we've done a couple versions. We did what was called the Alphabetica many years ago. And what the Alphabetica was is file folders with ABC, the whole alphabet. We did the whole alphabet. And I have a big box of those. I didn't bring those in here, but I have a big box of the Alphabetica where we would store our ephemera based on alphabet. And we did that. We did it for a few months. I think we started to do a year-long project, but I think everybody got the idea pretty quickly about decorating the file folders based on a theme and storing stuff in it. So we moved on to this project. So these are all file folders. I cut down a box. And covered it so that it's pretty with one side open. So it's kind of like a little bookshelf, right? It's kind of like a little bookshelf. And this is at least two, maybe three different I think it's two in here. This is two different projects that we did for 2 different years. This one we did once a month. It was a different theme. So, and I have tabs on them. We use paint chips and different things. So we had different themes for every month. We had food, animals. I'm trying to read the tabs. This one I don't see a tab on this one. It's people. This one is places, architecture, color, patterns, things, nature, travel, fashion, birds, bugs, and butterflies. And what's this one? Is that just extras? So we had 12 different themes, and we did one a month. And what we would do is we would research whatever part of this meant something to you or however you wanted to do it. Let me just pick nature. All right, let me move some of my other books I'm going to show. Okay. Trying to keep it kind of neat here because it'll pile up. Okay, so this right here is 12 months of themes. Then this is a separate little book project here that I'll show you in a minute. So what we would do is tab it, decorate it. Now, Packer Dye and I were working on this project together. So what we would do is I would do the theme and like kind of the collection of stuff. And this was some years ago, gosh, probably 4, 5, 6 years ago. I'm not sure. And Packer Dye would decorate the finished, official looking decorated folder. Packer Dye did those. So on mine, they are not that decorated because I let Packer Dye do the decorating on her folders, right? But then we would collect. Okay, so then we had 4 topics for each theme. Subtitle: Make, Find, Have, and Given. So you would collect things that you would make, find, you already have in your stash, or somebody had given you. Okay, look, stencil in here. I don't know, stencil in here. I guess I should pull this out maybe and use it, right? It's like it's a metal stencil. Where's Janet? She probably needs this in the beast. Anyway, so I had this. I'm going to pull it out so I can use it for something else. All right. So then we would have things that we would make, and I don't even know what's in here at this point. Yeah, or glue it down. So I made these little tags or these little mini cards, or here's some different cutouts from my cameo silhouette that I made with on the jelly plate. Here is some cards that we made at one point. For some, there's a little piece of a feather there. We made these out, showed how to use clip art, old clip art books to make cards with. So these are just some make samples, right? So that went in the make side. Then the find. So I found a piece of this napkin. And I just wanted to show people what they could do, right? You know, you could totally take this to a whole nother level. Okay, so what do I have in this little envelope here? Okay, I got little die cuts, which I could probably use in some other project right now. So I found these little die cuts from other projects. So I put them all. And again, you can use envelopes. You can use, glassine envelopes. But this was a project that we did for, I think we did it for a year. Maybe it was 9 months. So that was the find pocket. And again, Packer Dye decorated. And you'll see I've got my other file folders that are way more decorated in this. Again, I wanted to get the idea across. And I didn't want to have to, I'm real big on the ideas, guys, so that you can develop it into what you want it to be. Not just copy everything I do. I don't want to just give you, nothing wrong. Don't email me. Nothing wrong with the PDF or a printout or anything like that. But you need to use it in your own way. It's not just, I didn't want to just give you something to copy verbatim. And then, that was stuff, that was stuff I found, and this was stuff I had. And so these are different nature. Here, look at these vellum leaves here. See, I need to pull these out and use them. So this was all vellum stuff with the exception of this one shell, which I think should go in that pocket. So had a little envelope for that. So that was something I had. Here's something else I had. What's in here? Oh, these are from like a Flow magazine. So I had these little tags, this little envelope here. So these are from different like Flow journal type things, Flow magazines. So I had those. And then these are things that I was given, in Happy Mail and stuff. So here's some little stamps, some little pocket, a little die cut envelope with a little note in there or something, these. So these are things that I was given, some stickers. And again, remember, this is all nature. This particular one is nature. So there's a little nature sticker somebody gave me. Another little envelope of something in here. Oh, somebody gave me some die cuts. Some nature die cuts are in there. So this is stuff that I was given. So we would do this every month, a different theme. Okay, you like this idea? And so you can do this idea yourself. You make up your own themes and just have make, something you find, something you have, or something you were given. And then it's just a nice folded up little file folder. I tabbed it using paint chips like that. And I wanted to be able to access it like a bookshelf. So we made this bookshelf kind of thing. It's just a box that's cut down. As you can see, it's just a box like this that's cut down that you can put them all in and access them like on a bookshelf. Then the other project with the file folders, and I didn't bring the Alphabetica in here, which is file folders, like full-on file folders in a big box, right? Flipping through. This project, we want, and again, now I would reconsider using rubber bands because rubber bands will break. Look, they'll break. I would use twine. Use twine to make your booklets with rather than rubber bands, but I was trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody. I made the book itself out of a game board, and I did not cover. I left it rough so that you could see the inner makings of how to use the game board. So it's not decorated or really anything. I left it as is so you could see what it looked like rather than covering it all up. You go, oh, it's a game board under there. Well, what? So I left it uncovered, unfettered, unfiltered. Okay. So this one was, this was a year-long project too. And every month we would make another file folder booklet. Let's just take one at a time here. Or did I get two? I would take, and we would have a theme for each one. I'll read the themes. And then what we would do, the file folder could be attached to your cover with a rubber band. Okay. So a rubber band would hold everything in on the first one, and then you could pop out the whole thing. Okay, you could pop out the whole file folder, right, on one by just attaching one side. Now, again, I would not use rubber bands because you can use them temporarily, but they will dry out. So ideally, you would want to attach them with baker's twine or a ribbon, but attach them with something that's not going to break down over time. But it's a quick way to make books in a hardback, in a book, right, in a cover. So our themes were January was discover, and I'll go through each one. Well, not to too much extent, but I'll give you a rundown. We did this in 2012. So we did this project 8 years ago. February was curiosity. March was knowledge. April was renew. I don't know. Well, I'm missing May in there. I think they're out of order. Then we had accomplish, rabbit trails, dreams, poison. That was October, obviously. Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, then I had something here with important. And then we had thee, me, and that was a whole little sub project in it. And then looking ahead to 2013, I think they're out of order because I think there's a month missing. So what we would do with each of the themes, we would break those themes down and have a subtitle for each thing. So like on Discover, then we would have each one would have style, techniques. I think they were each one. Let's see if I remember. No, they're different. Each one of these was different too. So we'd have style, techniques, color, and purpose. And that was for Discover. So we were discovering color and ideas in this one. But you can make these anything you want. So then we'd have style. I picked out, like, there's Salvador Dali, different people. I had notes, writing, any kind of information that we had. This would have been like, now I'd put this in my Society of Idea Collectors. And then we would have the thesaurus and have synonyms for everything Discover. So the theme was discover. Was it just discover? So I'd have everybody go and find all the synonyms. Thanks, Dan. I'd have all the synonyms for that we could think of or discover. You can look them up. I always recommend that you try to write down as many of the ideas you can yourself before you go Google it, because you can find everything on Google, but you're not using your imagination by looking them up on Google. All right. To discover, to make known or visible, to expose, to obtain sight or knowledge for the first time. Find the solution of a puzzle or make a discovery. So there's the definition. Then the synonyms: discover, ascertain, determine, unearth, learn, invent, identify, bring to light, catch, come across, conceive, contrive, design, detect, determine, dig up, discern, explore, reveal, locate, observe, perceive, pioneer, realize, recognize, think of, to sense, to find out something not previously known to one. So again, we would do these different little pocket information for each month. Here's one on color. So what did we discover on color? We had questions and concepts that we would talk about. Then here's purpose. How are you going to use what you discover? Here's where we would always ask our questions: who, what, where, why, when, how, the questions. And so that was, and then again, you could put a rubber band around this, and you could carry it. The purpose of having it in a file folder like this was then you could carry this around for the month, and everything that you came to want to talk or, understand about discovering, and then about color, technique, style, purpose, whatever. And you could do it. You can adapt any of this stuff. You can adapt any of this stuff to yourself. And so we would do one a month. Then in February, we did curiosity, and then we did gathering, exploring, observing, and letting go. And again, more things on each one. Some of this one does, the rubber band's not broken on. So you can see how you could pull this out. See on the rubber band? So they would, if the rubber band wasn't broken, see how you could attach it to your spine there. So under knowledge, we had observe, learn, share, and action. Renew, we had organize, outside, order, and overhaul. In accomplish, past, present, 2012, and future. July was rabbit trails, and we did web, video, books, and life, talking about distractions, I think was that one. Dreams, do, be, have, and give. And this one is tucked in here. So in poison, we had excuses, gripes, complaints, and whine. Then under important, we had personal, family, community, and world. And then we would do thee, me, and how do we do it? Thee and me. And there was another one of these somewhere. We had 3 of those. Then looking forward to 2013. We did that. And then this is the one that Joycey, we did a swap, I think. And Joycey sent me one of hers. Anyway, so they all attached with the rubber band. Again, I would now, instead of using a rubber band to attach them, use a twine. But they also fit in my file folder bookcase. And I really should go through my bookcase and any other file folders that are on my bookcase, real bookcase, take them off the real bookcase and put them in my file folder mini bookcase. So there's that. If you want to journal with a theme, journal with a theme and with file folders. All right, let me get a sip of juice here. Get your idea book, get your Society of Idea book out. Okay. So again, let's go back over to a couple. This one is, let me back out one. I think we need to get back out one. So this one was my junk journal where I'm just throwing whatever in, including some extra leftover lace, little pieces of fabric. This is kind of like my Southern Gal Tiff journal, if you will, even though it drives Janet crazy that I'm using my navy leather journal for this. But anyway, so I haven't done too much in it except, a little bit of paint and some, junk and different sizes. I just put different sizes of paper, whatever, little leftovers, little cards, just different little bits of fabric and, collage. And then again, I'll do the same kind of thing. I'll go in and build a little world out of it like I did here with our little French bulldog in space. And yeah, Julie. I love the folded file folders. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we did that one. I think I said 2012. And before that, Carrie and I had done in like 2010, 11. I mean, I'm not joking. We probably did hundreds of file folder projects. And I'm glad to see people are doing them again because it's such a good idea. It's such an easy way to do themes and to keep projects and to keep your ideas in. So again, got some little scribbles and like there's that little pattern thing we did a few minutes ago. Just little quotes, just whatever you want to put in. Look, I got a couple of little ice cream pins pinned to the fabric. These are some little calendar quotes, the little desk calendars that you can get with the little quotes in them. Cut those out, glue them in. If you find a quote you like, you don't know where to put it in a little junk journal like this, right? Stenciling, another one of the little like art card cut apart things. When you have those, love, faith, more little and the other things, speaking of little cards, you can also do, and I think Colleen, I don't know if Kathy's doing it. I don't know if Colleen's here, but Colleen was doing, went back into the Rolodex. So I have one of those big Rolodex, if Colleen's here. I have no place to store it, Colleen. I don't have a place to store my big metal, huge Rolodex. So I don't really use it, but you can do this same kind of thing on Rolodex. If y'all remember, all right, let me kind of gather that up a little. Some of y'all might remember this Rolodex type thing that came out back in the scrapbooking days. Let's see if I can turn it on its side. Do y'all remember this? I don't know if it was made by Ranger, but it came with like cards that were, let me find one here. They're hard cards. And so they're the dividers. And of course, I just decorated them up. And then you could put your regular soft Rolodex that size, or you could put your tags like this. And, we cover them with scrapbook paper and make them dividers like this. So, you can do this with a Rolodex. This was made to have these hard cards in. I'm sure they don't make these anymore, not these plastic ones. But you can still do this. And if you watch Colleen, Scrap Chick Colleen, she's been doing some cards like Rolodex cards. So if you want to see more ideas on Rolodex cards, and probably goes to Colleen's channel. And again, I'm not sure Kathy Berg is doing them with Colleen, but I know Colleen's doing these. Is Kathy here? I don't know if either one of them are here. But anyway, so Scrap Chick is doing some kind of Rolodex. This is really old. And again, we'd use the tags. And you don't remember, this was a long time ago. This was before I started streaming, Colleen. This was probably maybe 12 years ago. 11, 12 years ago. It was before I started streaming, and I've been streaming for 10. So this is back in the scrapbook day, and made these little girls out of flowers and laminated those. Is there a date on that? No. And but they're hard, like they're chipboard, Colleen. They're chipboard. I mean, heavy chipboard. Look at that. It's not even bendable. It's not cardboard. It's chipboard. And they came with a set of these, and then you had to decorate them. You'd have to decorate it yourself, So we would glue our scrapbook papers down, sand the edges so they're nice and buff, and we'd have we'd have those basic gray file tools. Do you have some of those? Remember those, the little file tools, so that you could get in here and file? You get in here and file those little areas. Do you remember that? I'm thinking, where are my tools? They might be up there, my file tools. And then we just put all different kinds of little clips and flowers and Prima flowers and tags. And of course, I have all my different words in here, different things that I would make my own little things. So yeah, there was this one. And then do you have the spinner one, Colleen? The side eye one? Let's see if I can reach it. It might be behind something. I may not be able to get to it. But it's the spinner one that's like, that spins this away, and it's on a little twisty thing. It's behind my shelf. I don't think I can get at it. Let me see. See if I can reach it. Let me see if I can reach it. Okay. This one, Colleen. Remember this one? You remember? Yeah, they're pink. Yeah, they were pink, Colleen. Now remember this? ATC spinners. So you would have your little cards like this, and you'd have your alphabets, and then you could put, of course, you could use it for people's names, but we were all using them for quotes and important stuff. You do have this one? Yeah. So this one was made by Seven Gypsies. I don't remember who the other one was made by, Colleen, and I don't see a name on it. So, all right, let's see if I can stick this back here. Back in the I don't use that anymore section. All right, so then I'm trying to think of all our different ways you can use your art journaling, collage, mixed media ideas. Okay, so let's put this one away. All right, magazine journals. Again, I'm not going to go through them because I've done it a gazillion times, but I just want to remind you of different things to use. Let me pull one of, and again, so I've got tons of these guys. I can't even tell you how many I got of these magazine journals that we did for some years. And what we would do is we'd take leftover Somerset or whatever kind of magazines, art magazines, but it could be anything. I don't recommend, you did a 100-day challenge with yours? Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, anyway, I'm sending them over to you for more Rolodex ideas, Colleen. Hi, Colina. So anyway, then we would glue magazines together, and I tell y'all some of the ideas about the benefits of, I'm going to get a messy one here, of you, and it's kind of the same thing that you saw in my little TNs, except in the TNs, you have to add your own images. You have to cut and glue your own images. If you use a magazine journal, which is just a bunch of art magazines or whatever, I don't recommend fashion magazines because they're so thin. I do not glue any of these together. They're not pages glued together. They're just, by the time you add paint and stuff to them, they're pretty sturdy. So if you take your magazines and you try to go off of some of the colors in the images, and you can scrape out, paint out, and it's a great way to practice your blending. Oh, thank you, Ashley McDowell. I'm glad. Aw, I love seeing all this inspiration. Thank you. And then it's a great way to practice blending your paints, blending and matching colors. And all that you see here, it's all done with craft paint. It's just done with craft paint. I have some other brands too. I just like Americana Deco Art, regular matte, not the shiny, not the gloss, not the satin. But anyway, although I do use some metallic, like the metallic edges and stuff like that. But it's a great way to practice your blending, whether it's with your finger, a baby wipe, a brush. It's a great way to practice your blending, your color matching, scraping. I mean, there's just so much. And then you can go in and add more stuff yourself. You can add more collagey stuff yourself. And then there's inks on here, and some of them are crusty, some of them are vintagey, and here's some leftover stuff. Who mentioned this? That's actually a stencil. That's a piece of a stencil I actually glued on. The stencil got really crusty, so I just glued it in the journal. But you can see. Hi, Rebecca. So you can use your stencils again, and you can use these you can put quotes, pictures. You can make it smash. I've got smash books. I might pull a couple of those to show you. I'm not going to pull my scrapbooking books. I've got tons of those when the kids were little. And I used to scrap in the 3-ring binders, the 12 by 12 3-ring binders that were like 2-3 inches thick. And I've got at least 25 of them. I have a couple of them in my playlist if you want to see a couple of scrapbook videos. I don't have too many. But anyway, so you can see, you can blend, and then you can go in here, you can art journal. Now, if you art journal over acrylic paint, you almost have to use a ballpoint pen. It doesn't have to be a Bic. I just like Bics. Now, if I can find one in here. But if you try to use any of your markers, if you try to use like even a Sharpie marker, they will go dull in about 5 minutes. It just ruin the paint will ruin a Sharpie in a heartbeat. But you can do anything on a paint with a ballpoint pen, right? Just saying, if you want to use it. Now here's how I would prefer for myself is if I was going to do a lot of journaling in an art journal. Me personally, I would write this on separate pieces of paper and glue those in, because I'm not thinking about or inhibited or having problems with thinking about my writing on top of paint and all that. I would just write it on something separate and then put them in a journal, because otherwise you're going to be thinking, well, is my pen going to run out? Is this too thick? So just so you know, so I'm just going to kind of flip. This is just one here. I've got many of these, many of these type of magazine journals. And what's so nice about a magazine journal, it's so freeing. You're not so worried about, am I going to mess it up? Am I going to scrape the paint wrong? Am I going to blend it wrong? You don't think about none of that. You just go and you play, and you can glue more, but you can also paint. I seem to be flipping to all the pages that I don't have anything done. But you can just do so much with it. So you can have this one has 3 magazines glued together. The other option, and I've shown you a couple of these that we've done, is cutting them in half. I do not recommend doing it yourself. You can, with a metal ruler and an X-Acto knife, cut a full-size magazine in half and then stack them and glue them. If you take it to, now again, right now, I don't know which office places got what going on, staff wise, and are they doing this anymore? But this was before the virus. But you could take it to Staples or one of those places, and they'll cut it in half for you. I think the UPS store might do it, and they'll cut it in half for you, and they'll do a much better job than I did. Here's kind of wonky, but I don't really care about that. But then you can glue half magazines, and you can have half magazines to it's not so bulky and not not bulky, they're all bulky, but you can play in your these kind of little magazine journals with scraping paint, leftover paint. I did almost all these pages with finger painting. It's almost all done with finger painting. If y'all want me to do one real quick, I will. Let me get another tray here, coffee lid. And let's just find something that's got some color. Here's my enablers page. And all this is just done with finger painting. So you can just take up, let's find a page here. Okay, this has got some pink, green, yellow. So let's just pick those colors. So just so you can see real quick that you don't have to really overthink this a lot. There's some green. Let's get some yellow. Now, the one thing you probably do want to do is put some wax paper between when you're doing it, because otherwise you could very easily glue your pages together. Maybe a little black in there too. I love having my desk all clean. I can go all the way to the end of the table now, the 6-foot table. I can go all the way to the end of the 6-foot table. All right, let me get a couple baby wipes. And a piece of wax paper. So I'm trying to just show you, and again, if you've been around me and around the show any length of time, you've probably seen a lot of this already, but every now and then I just like to go back through art journals because it's always good to get more inspiration. Not gluing pages together and it works. Yeah, take some wax paper and let's see, I got two taped together here because I was working on something big. So let me just take it. Well, it may not. Let me cut it. I was working on something big. And if y'all miss my big posters that I've been working on, I'll show those again after we're done here. I'll show them at the beginning. All right, so just take some wax paper. And you also, whoops, I picked up some paint there. You also want to make sure it's dry before you close your book. So just put some wax paper between, and you can wrap it. You could actually wrap the wax paper. Whoops, I missed a page. You can actually wrap the paper around your book so that it doesn't go anywhere like that, But what I did is I would just take my colors here and pick up 2 or 3 colors. And look. Pick up 2 or 3. And it doesn't have to be sideways. It's just easy to do it this way because that's the way your hand wants to go. Okay, so I'm covering up all the things around the edge. Maybe a little more green in there. Just pick up a whole handful of paint. And you can cover a page in like 2 seconds. Well, a minute. Okay, so now I got some colors on there. Now I might go in here with some black. Some black streaks just coming through just because it gives it some nice contrast. So now you've got a page that you can either journal on, write on, put words on, glue other things on. But see how quick that is just with your finger painting? And then again, what you need to do with this is go to one of your desk journals and scrape this paint up and scrape it into a desk journal. Then you don't waste it. But then you've got to remember, you've got to leave a couple of journals, either heat gun them and let them dry or set them aside for a couple hours till they dry. So there's magazine journals. All right, let me set that aside. I have the door closed so the cats can't get in here on the floor. All right, so I have a bunch of those. That's stacks and stacks of magazine journals. Then you can also use old books. Let's see, where's this? I don't know if I can get to this. Let's see. See if I can get to this one out. Got jammed in here. make your own smash books, you don't have to have the quote unquote official smash book, which let me pull a couple of those. If y'all remember these smash books, y'all remember these? And I don't know what I got in here, so I'm not going to, let me take a peek. But they would have all these different papers. Now, here's what I did not like. Now, y'all might think this is weird. What I did not like about the smash books. But because of the smash books, I did get the idea for the fibs books. I'm going to pull that too. So I'll pull one, even though I got 2 or 3 fibs books. But I want to show you that. All right, so put the wax paper back. So what I did not like about the smash books, let's see if you can hear this. Can you hear it squeaking? They squeaked. That drove me crazy. I did not like the smash book squeak. But they're very cool. So what I would do is I ended up pulling pages from them. This one's only about halfway done because I'll take papers out of it and reuse. I did not like the squeaks of the smash books. So, and I got some pictures and other, oh, I got some napkins in here. Let's pull these napkins. These need to go in my napkin pile. Use those. Let's put that over here. Okay. See, this is why I need to go through all these journals and decide what am I going to do with it. Oh, okay. Here's some little scrapbooking things in here. Hear the squeak? Drove me crazy. Look at that page, though. So anyway, I like a lot of the papers, but I just didn't like the squeakiness. So I just didn't use them. I have the big one too. There's a big, huge one of these. They all squeak. So, but the thing is about that is I got the idea to do our fibs book, Friends in the Box. So I had a couple different versions, and I'm not going to go through this too much because it's really a lot. But I'm trying to show you as many ways to art journal and, whatever you want to do. This is Fluffette. This was my first fibs book. It is just a composition book that never has fallen apart. It's a composition book with 100 fibs in it. Friends in the Box, people. They each have a tab for their name. Everyone has a tab for their name. And then we would do their favorite color, their favorite, so it was a Friends in the Box. If they sent Happy Mail, a card, I did the little collages, all about you collages for everybody. And then I would photograph them because this was before I had my cell phone. So I would photograph everything with my 35 millimeter camera and then print it out and put them in the books. And so this was the first fibs book, Friends in the Box. It sits up on my shelf. But I've since gone over to, ouch, smack my hand on that. I've since gone over to this, which let me take all the stuff. This is all the stuff that I currently have to incorporate in the fibs book. So now what I'm doing is using the Happy Planner rings and making a new fibs book. Let's go over here to Xandra. And doing the same type of thing where I'm collecting stuff, doing a little page about them, if they have any business cards or shops or anything. And speaking of Xandra, I do have some stuff coming from Xandra. I think it's going to be here tomorrow. There's no mail today. I think it'll be here tomorrow. So on Wednesday, I'll have some Xandra stuff to show you guys. And I might have made a jet pen order for Inktober. Inktober's coming up in October. So, you got to get some new pens for Inktober. So I might have some happy mail coming on Tuesday, tomorrow. And then I can show it to you on the Wednesday show. So you want to flip this and see who all's in it? Okay, well, I don't have, I've got my list. Let's see, where's my list? Do I have it in the front or do I have it in the middle? I have a list of who I have already started. So, of course, there's my mom and Denise. They're my best fibs. My mom and my daughter Denise. So I've got, let's see, there's Boo and Cam. This is when Samantha went to New York right before the virus. And then, of course, I have one of Malibu and Oliver. So see how it's kind of a smash book? It's kind of a smash book. Cameron, the cats. All right, so here's our faithful mess, who I consider our washi tape queen, because y'all know she sells books of washi tape and does everything with washi. So I put washi tape, full on washi on hers. And then I'll put like a paper clip. If I get more stuff from whoever, I'll just paper clip it in. So this is going to get fluffy as well. Just not, I just don't work in it as much, but I need to because I really love this book. There's my other grandson in LA. There's a picture of me on my Trans Am back in 1980 something one. Here is APG Jamie. Here's one of her funny letters. She always sends out funny letters. And then the cactus and there's her YouTube business card thing. And then over here, then we have, again, here's Xandra with her different YouTube and paint and paper studio shop, which, by the way, if you don't follow Xandra, Scraps to Beauty Xandra on Instagram, if you want to know every time she gets new stuff in her shop, she always posts it on IG. And it sells out almost like in a day or two. So if you want to get anything new from Xandra, you got to grab it while the grabbing's good. Yeah, there was no Happy Planners 10 years ago. Yeah, there was the Smash Book. What I showed y'all, the Smash Book type thing, which again, if you don't have a Smash Book, I also did the same kind of thing in an old book. I took this book apart, which was about vintage toys. I know I didn't know you then, janitor. I would have sent you the book. Vintage toys and how they were discovered, and I turned it into a smash book. I just put rings in it. I punched holes and made it into a ring. So this is another way to make a smash book or an art journal or a mixed media or whatever kind of journal, is take a book and alter the book. You can take the spine out, put it in ring bound. You can do, that's what this is right here. This paper here. These are out of Flow magazines and out of Paper Lovers magazines. And I've just punched them out. Of course, you have to have the punch if you want to make a book, but you don't have to do that. You could just punch regular holes and put rings. Right. So it doesn't have to be this elaborate. It just so happens that I have a lot of Happy Planner stuff. So I made my own. And what's nice about a Happy Planner is, look, just comes right out. So you can move things around. That's what I love about a Happy Planner. Then you just punch it right back in. It's also the same thing as the ARC system, ARC, that you see at office supplies. It's the same thing, except the Happy Planner have little hearts. They have little hearts in theirs. The ARC doesn't have the hearts. You started with Smashbooks. And so then here's Norma. So there's her pages, some of her pictures, Branson Limo. Here is Teresa here. So I got some stuff from Teresa. Here's Lady Jan, and then I got a flap out for her here. Some of her letters and postage. There's Zeely. Here is Annie V. She doesn't come on. She watches me and Mary, Altier, and probably other people too. But she's in her 80s. And I did write her not too long ago, but she would write nice letters, and she always sent things nice to me and Mary. And I haven't heard from her for a couple months now. and she's in her 80s. She and her husband, they've had a lot of health issues and stuff. So me and Mary try to send her stuff, letters and stuff every now and then. Here's Jonna, Sister Woman, the Preppy Crafty Girl. If you want to find the Preppy Crafty Girl on Etsy, Jonna's the one that I get my vintage papers and vintage like pattern. What do like pattern clothing patterns, the old patterns and old magazines and old. She had, as of last week, she did have a couple kits left on her Etsy shop. She's called the Preppy Crafty Girl. And then one of her letters, here's Katie in Alabama. Here is Laura Lou. If y'all haven't, I did message Laura and said I haven't seen her around lately. So if y'all miss Laura Lou, I call her Laura Lou, but anyway, Laura. The Laura's the one that did the circle journal, the circle color book, circle portraits, and I've colored quite a few out of her book. She's on Instagram. Y'all message her and tell her to get back. Tell her to come back to making videos. Okay. And so then hers, I did a pop out here with little animals, and all these have little doors in them. So with little animals, so and again, this is probably out of a flow book. So I just put it in here and put her name and some little animals. And she likes to hike and paint outside. So I thought this was just kind of really cute for her. Here's Dawn, Make a Mess. Kimberly 557, Janet. So again, Monkey Island Madness, Janet. She likes to grow things, and she also loves to collect pins. And we're like, we love our pins. So I put pins in her garden. Oh, thank you, Pacola. Yeah, there's Jonna's Etsy, Preppy Crafty Girl. And she sells vintage kits and like golden books to use to make kits. And then so here's some of the people I have listed to make pages from. Painty Girl Lori. There's one of her little light bulb characters that she makes. Then over here, then I have Mark Muir. Here I have Connie, Barb, Owen, Riri, and I have one in here for Colleen, because Colleen asked, and I have one in here for Colleen, but they're not necessarily in like just order, but there is one in here for Colleen somewhere. Where are you, Colleen? You're in here somewhere, girl. Hippie Colleen is in here somewhere. But anyway, so this is a way you can make a fibs book or a friends in the box or whatever you want. It could be a family thing. So again, this is my stack of stuff that I've got to get in the book. So I just have a headbands. Headbands make awesome journal holders like that. Okay, so I got that one, and I also have a foodie one. So I have a different one for foodie fibs. Fibs that like cooking and foodies. So I have a different one that I use the flow. Ooh, that squeak. Ooh, that bugged me. A flow foodie one. So it's the fibs that like food. They're going to go in this one. So it's the paper book for food lovers. And again, we'll just, it's the same system with the Happy Planner rings. Okay. So there's those kind of ways to journal or keep track of. Of course, there's always composition books. And whether you use one or glue multiples. Hang on. Get this here. I haven't done anything with this one yet, but I had a bunch of composition books that you get like for $1 during school days, when school starts. So I glued 4 of them together and covered them with scrapbook paper and plastic shipping taped the spine to give it some stability. So if you want to make a art journal, this can be a combo writing journal and art journal. So you can use composition books, either multiples or one at a time. So back to this idea of using other books. Again, this was just kind of a junk, I don't know, kind of just, I don't even remember what all is in here. You're writing down, oh, good, Jane. And yeah, okay, well, stay safe if you're in a storm, or you just maybe you're brainstorming. Brainstorming. And so this was a little book on old toys and discoveries, like back from the 40s, 50s. Like this was the, look, doing a wheelie on that old bike there. But anyway, it had everything from the frisbee to, mostly 50s and 60s, things you would see on the Brady Bunch or in my life. Oh, brainstorming, Jane. So what I would do is I started just painting and playing and smashing in this book. So, and I've gone through this before, and it's so funny, the toys we used to play with, lawn darts, and all kinds of things that we now would be considered dangerous, and they probably don't even make anymore. But they were all, this was a whammo. It was a whole book on whammo. So I just made a book of whammo, and then the scrapbook. It's like a junk journal, right? It's like a junk journal, but I use my whammo. Here's the dedicated to Spud Mellon and Rick Kerr. Rick Kerr. Anyway, who I guess were some of the originators of whammo. They're both passed away in 2002 and 2008. But anyway, so I took this book apart, and I just punched holes in it, and then added some file folders and just pockets and whatever, and made it like a smash book junk. Yeah, Stingray bikes. Yeah. And so what my point is here is you can take a book that speaks to you, that you like, and you can start you can play with it. Look, tiddlywinks, and I got all kinds of little things, just pockets and kind of, it's just a mess. It's a hot mess, but I just loved it. It was so fun. It was so fun. So I'd paint over it and put little scrap things, but it was the history of whammo. You can probably still find the book. But again, this one I made probably 10, 12 years ago. I made this before I started streaming. So these are old. Look, slingshots. These are before I started streaming. So there's just all kinds of, crazy stuff in here. Home gym. Look, one of those elastic things you like, do exercises with. Look, cat pistols, weapons. Look, we buy this stuff for kids. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of flip through here just so you can see some of the stuff from there's the frisbee, hula hat, hula hoop, string a tree. Oh, the silly string and the can. Now, I don't know who'd put that on their Christmas tree, but yeah, anyway. But they're all the different toys from whammo. And I just turned it into a junk journal, smash book kind of thing. So, and just put it on a ring. So there's just all kinds of stuff in here. Remember the slip and slide, and I just love the idea of having a junk journal with all these old toys. So there's an idea if you just want to make your own with a book that you like. This is a piece of chipboard from some other journal that I just used to kind of focus on the bike there. And then I just have one of these bands to kind of hold everything closed. So there's another idea for a junk journal or just a journal and you can paint these out neater. Like I showed you in my, these books here, my TNs, where you can paint them out neater and cleaner if you want and make them more, not so junky, but Okay, so let's see. I'm never going to get this back in here. I have a complete whole bookcase. This whole bookcase, 6-foot shelf, is completely full of my journals from the last 10, 12 years. And I know I've shown y'all some of the oldest ones. Let's see. I'll pull a couple of these where we used to use the Canson mixed media, and I would de-spiral them. These are old, but these were at the beginning of my stream time. The Canson mixed media journals that have the spiral, and I'd take the spiral out, put book rings in them so that I could make my own journals with just book rings. It gave you more flexibility to move things around. This is from 2011. So you can see, and it's pretty worn. But this is the kind of thing, guys, I'm telling you, I have shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves of that, I just don't know what to do with. But this is, some of my 2011. Here's the Hive. We did the Hive. That was all of us. Before we were the Fibs, we were the Hive. So these are just some of my collages from 2011. There's Twitter and tweets and just different things from back. You see how that sounds? They're not sticking, but because they're smashed in with a whole bunch of books, the pages haven't been opened in a while. So these are some of our older collage books. So yeah. Here's where we did this one. Back when we were on Ustream, we called her well, her name is Love, but Tech. Anytime we had any problems on Ustream, would somehow fix them for us. So this was just a smash, but it's not done or anything, but they're just different pages that I've done just to show you different ways to art journal. And so I think that's all in this one. And this is the same kind of thing, just a bigger one. And so my point of these is these are just those blue mixed media Canson spiral bound sketchbooks, if you will. I think I might have one. Let's see, back out here. These kind. Like this. They're just in different sizes. And I take the spiral out and put book rings in them so that you can move them around better. And let's see what I got in here. So this one was from, do I have a date in this one? I don't know. Here's some pages. I guess I took these out. Oh, this was a page on for Memorial Day. We did a Memorial Day thing there, and just different pages from back when. This is when Paula had her first ankle surgery. We did her a giant get well page. So that was for Paula's get well. Just all kinds of different things. This one was the pen night. The night of the pen night. So just a little everything in here. This one was a little contest to name the page. And there's just some different. This is when we hand drew these bells to do a Christmas page. There's a snow page, some blank page. This was an Egyptian page. We just picked themes. We picked themes and we would roll with it. Yeah, she did, Colleen. This one right here this, and I never remember which book it's in when I talk about it. This is a lot of what I would do before I started streaming everything. I would take a collage like this and turn them into paintings. So let me see if I can, hang on, let me go into my canvases here. Hang on, guys. If I can find it. I don't know if I can. I'm flipping. Ah, here it is. Okay. So what I would do is I would take my collage sketches, okay? I would take something like this and paint it on a board. So here's my painting based off of this. And there's no collage in this. This is all paint. There's collage in this, right? There's collage in this. But this is my painted version of that collage. So I would take the sketches and turn them into paintings. So I have quite a few of those. I never can find this one. I won't go through those right now, but that's another idea for what you can use your art journaling and mixed media and collage for, is you can turn them into paintings. So let's see what else we have in here. So anyway, there's that one. And I just did this one to look like, these are real hinges. So I put these hinges on here. And like, really, Colleen? Okay. So then let's see what else. Then this one, again, is just a covered fold outs here. So we did this one. I think this was my book on angel book. And so it all had these little flaps and things here, notes. Another way to just make a journal, and we would make them, use them for a while, and then we'd move on. Move on. I have another, this is not the angel one. I have an angel one. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Gotta dig a second on the shelves. Put all these back. Where is the angel one? Oh, here. I think this is it. Okay. Okay, so here's another one like that. Let me put these smash books away. And we have multiples of these. This was like made out with a big piece of poster board and made them big. And like this one's not done, but you can see that it was kind of the same thing, the same idea of flaps and just different, you know. And stencil and collage and paint. So as far as we got on that one, there's a tape transfer right there. So yeah, just all different ways to art journal. And you can, you know, write. I mean, I've got shelves and shelves and shelves of those. Let's see. I'm kind of trying to find different things. Where's my door book? I know, because I was going to, I think I showed that to Colleen. The book made from doors. The Bo Bunny door book. I had it pulled. I don't know if I ever showed it. I'm not sure where it is right now. Okay, well, I'm seriously, guys, I am not exaggerating when I have literally say I have hundreds of art journals. I know I've shown y'all a picture of the shelf, so I won't do that. Okay, so going back to some of my more recent ones, these two right here, I'll stay for about 30 more minutes. Pacola's still here, but I did pull my 1001 Ways to Be Creative because I forgot to read it out of it last week. I did forget one journal. My let me pull a couple of these. Hang on. So when I first got the Dilutions journals, they're those cardboard-looking Dilutions by Dina Reevely. Dina I get Dina Wakeley and Diane Reevely mixed up. Anyway, these are these that have the book, and they're all cardboard. This one I haven't varnished or anything on the inside, but this was the first one. And what I had done, I have four of these, and I've painted them all different ways. But what I bought this for was in 2013, I was going to do a calligraphy book because I used to do calligraphy back in the day. I used to do a lot of calligraphy back before desktops and everybody could just print out fonts and calligraphy. So I was going to do this as a calligraphy book. And then I did this cover page here, and I said, no, I don't really want to do a whole book. So I went back to doing my usual, my mixed media. So this book is from 2013. And again, it's the same kind of thing. It's my collage, my mixed media. And these pages, for the most part, have been varnished. So if they're varnished, they're done. Once you varnish them, there's really no going back. You can't really paint over this varnish. I mean, I guess you could, but yeah. So this was my 2013 collage. And again, see how nothing sticks? The varnish just keeps, nothing sticks. They just smooth as glass. So, this was all done in my Dilutions, and I have 4 different ones. One of them I did kind of like a partial napkin journal, and then I think 2 of them are like this kind of journal with the with just collage and mixed media. And of course, I still have my abandoned books that I work in, where I do the altered book, in the abandoned books, which I'm not pulling those out today. These all started with just a plain blank page, nothing on them. As opposed to an abandoned book or any kind of an altered book. If you're afraid to start collage and you just don't know what to do, where to go with it, then start with a book that you can alter rather than starting from scratch, from like nothing on your page, because that can be a little more intimidating. So again, these are just all from 2013 in this journal. And they all have stories to me. This is one of I love this page. I had this as my phone screensaver for a couple of years. I love this page right here, this owl. Some are more simple, some are more complex, but they were all fun. They're all fun to do. Thank you, Colleen. Just do a little flip. Now here's where they're not done. This is where they start not being done. So the rest of these are in different stages. So like here, let me show you how, now there's a couple in here that are done. So I might start, and it sounds like they're really sticking, but they're not. It's just that this book has not been opened in a while. But as you can see, nothing is coming apart when they're sticking. So I might start with something like this, and then I build worlds out of it. And usually I start with colors. Color themes are a good way to make something cohesive. So if you want to build a world, so if you notice that there's only a couple colors on each page. So this is how they start, like this. Then I start blending in the background, and then I come forward with a story. So here's some more owls. This one's not varnished, but it's pretty much done. And so, yeah. So this one's not done. That one's not done. That one's not done. But you can see they're different stages. So I've got 4 of these, and they're all kind of different because I did different things in them. Like I think this one is the one I did. Yeah, this one I used color book. Well, first I did different, faux techniques. Of course, they're kind of, painted up. But in this one, I would use different elements, like maybe this is cutouts or a color book page or one of my own drawings. There's my biker pug drawing. And these are not, very few of these are done. Very few, like these giraffes are from a color book color book. So this is showing you how you can take your color book images and cut them out. Again, I'm going to remind you, do not cut them out, glue them down, and then try to color them. You want to color them first and then glue them down. Then you can go back and tweak it with some paint and stuff. But you don't want to try to color book on top of texture, because you'll pick that color book up. Okay, well, so a lot of these aren't done. A lot of them are done for demos to show y'all different techniques. Here's how to use clip art, just different things. This is another color book page that I colored. Cut, she's not even glued down yet. Cut her out and ready to glue down. So color book page. So more color book pages. Just to show you that you can use your color books. This has got ink splatters or smack and dragon. This one's not glued down. She's a little pirate girl. She's got all glitter on her. And yeah, so some stenciling, more color book and a story. There's Goldilocks and the 100 Bears. So yeah, color book pages and stenciling and painting. So there's just so much you can do. There's so much you can do. And it just kind of starts like this. Pieces of color. This one's done, but it's not varnished. They're cut out of a Creative Haven color book, steampunk color book. And then I did them a little time portal over here. So this is all painted in. This is a little piece of collage watch, a little collage vintage medieval. And I put that like that's the door. Here's the time machine. And, steampunk, right? I did this one in 2015. And when you do something like a color book page in your art journal, don't be afraid to paint right over it to make it like blend into your story, right? Just paint right over it. I love this. I love this page. I don't know why. I just love these colors. This is one Colleen sent me. I don't usually do dimensional stuff. I don't do dimensional stuff because it's hard to work on when you got, bows and knots and stuff. But Colleen sent me a bunch of this coffee stuff. So I did a Colleen page. This was based off of stuff Colleen sent me. All these little flowers and tags and stuff. So again, that one's pretty well done. I could add a few touches and varnish that. So there's just all kinds of, if you want to call it junk journal, glue journal, This one's done. This one's just Still there. We did a steampunk frog, florals, stencils, drawings, doodles. Just, you can just play and play and play as much as you want. But this is kind of how they start, like this. There may be something on the background, there may not be, but I start gluing things down and then I paint a world out of it. Turn it into a world. So I've got 4 of these. This one, I did the covers as well. So this one has a collage cover, and this is more like my abandoned books look, right? Because this is probably from an abandoned calendar, a page out of a calendar, and of course I add all my own, clocks and watches and planets and stars. There's a little monk right there, and it's of course varnished. And so this one's 2016, and these are more detailed and they're more finished, but they also have a lot more small detail to them. I think that just the more I do them, I get faster. So I can get, but they start like this. See, they start with just something like this. This one doesn't have as much done it. So let me skip to some of the pages that are done. Here's one. We did this one this year. This one in 2020, just because we opened the book and I think somebody wanted to see me do a page. So we painted this one. It's not varnished yet, but we did this one this year, 2020. I think that's one of Catherine, her last name just escaped me, Catherine Anderson Doors. I think that's a Catherine Anderson door right there. So, and as you can see, I don't have to go necessarily in order. I'll skip a couple pages and just go to something that speaks to me. This one was back in 2016, and it's our time traveling tiger. Oh, let's see. Again, this is how they start, and this is how they go. But it does take time. It takes practice. This one's got 3 levels to it. So I really like this one too. I like a lot of them. I mean, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't be doing it, right? So let's see. Here's another one. This one took a while. There's a lot of little tiny painty details in this one because I didn't like the way this was flowing. I redid a lot of stuff. This one was a little bit of a struggle, but it also has some of the most tiniest details painted in of all of them that I did. This one has a lot to it. Well, I mean, you can see how many I've done, how many are in process. I mean, I'm going to be honest, hundreds, if not thousands. Well, I don't want plural thousands, but I will say hundreds. So, and that includes art cards, postcards, little cards, books, composition books, journals, posters. Here's my 2 posters that I've worked on over the last 2 Sundays. So these 2 I've worked on for 2 weeks total. This one right here I showed you. I think I'm backed out as far as I can. Let me see. So these posters are 22 by 29 or thereabouts. And I don't do a lot of posters on camera. For one, to get to the stage where I could start painting in the water and the little waterfalls and all that, I'd already worked a couple hours on it before I streamed this a week ago Sunday. I worked on it for 2 or 3 more hours on stream, and it's still not done. So there's probably a total of 5 and 6 hours maybe on this. And but I tried to have as much done as I could so that you could see me work on the details, because usually it takes a couple hours to get to the stage where you can see me start putting in clouds and waterfalls and little tiny details. it takes a couple hours. So then by then the stream is over. So you don't get to see me do the little details. So then here's the other one that I did yesterday. And again, a week ago Sunday, you saw that I had just a base coat and a little bit of foliage a week ago Sunday. So Sunday I worked on this for probably another 5 hours. And it's my Garden of Eden. So I worked on this for Sunday, and I will varnish these eventually. And I'm doing 21 of these. I'm doing 21 of these with doors and dimensions. And so this one is my Garden of Eden, if you couldn't tell by the snake. So y'all know what happened in the Garden of Eden. So when they were kicked out of Eden, what did they get? They got death. But if y'all know what the scarlet thread is, there's also the scarlet thread. So I did little doors here, and there's my Garden of Eden, which was outside of time, and I just did a lot of little things that mean something to me. But you like that bad? So anyway, and again, it wants to flash out. I'm trying to kind of tilt it so it's not flashed out, but you can kind of see there. So yeah. So this will be like number one. This will be number one of 21 different dimensions that I'm going to do. So that's the other one that you saw, which I worked on last Sunday on stream. Is they're not necessarily going to be. I'm not going to necessarily work on them in order, but eventually they'll be in an order. So yeah, I got those. I've got them all laid out. All right, so real quick, let me show these two journals that I've been working in, and then we'll read out of the 1001 Ways to Be Creative before we go. So I hope y'all have enjoyed just getting ideas for art journaling, whether you collage, write, glue, whatever you do. Okay, so these are two of the artisan ones. Now, when I do a journal, not everybody can do this. I understand. I do this all day, so I understand. Trust me, I used to not be able to do art all day when I was raising my kids and working and moving 30 times in my life. So there's not always been a time where I could just art all day long, but I can now. So thank the good Lord and the creek don't rise. So these are how I like to do a journal like these is go through and add paint on every single page. So I might glue something, one or two things down, and then I paint them out. I put some paint on every page. Again, I know that not everybody can skip around in journals and just go throw some paint on one page and go 5 pages over and start on another one. I understand not everybody likes to do it, doesn't want to do it. They want to go orderly, page by page. That's fine. It's whatever works for you. There's no wrong way. There's no right way. I like to get a lot done. I have a lot of ideas. I'm never going to get them all out. I'm working on 21 posters, for goodness sake. Like I don't have enough stuff to do, right? So let's just do 21 posters. Oh, and don't forget Inktober's coming up in October. We got to do that too. So, which I like to do because Inktober is the only month where I really concentrate on just inking stuff. And I've done it for 5 years in a row. Completed it for 5 years in a row. So I'm going to want to try to, I don't know what theme I'm going to do. I've never followed the official Inktober prompts. I've never done that. I've made my own theme. Last year was Movie Monsters My Way. And so I make my own theme every year. So, oh, well, good, Jane. I'm glad. Oh, thank you, Val. I'm glad y'all like it. So in this one, it's just kind of, I paint, I glue, I go back. I paint, I glue, I go back. And I might do that. I'll scribble, with some of the Jane crayons where I can go in there now. There's some scribbles on there. I can go in there with my white gesso or white paint and water and blend this stuff out. So There's a lot of stickers in these too, because y'all know I got my sticker books and I want to use them. Now, they'll probably get painted out. A lot of the stickers will get painted in, I should say. They'll disappear, not disappear, but they probably all won't have the white edges. I'll paint all that in. Oh, let me zoom back in. I zoomed out for the other one. And so I could probably turn the brightness down just a tad. I don't want to get it too dark. Let's do a little contrast. There we go. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. I'm so glad you liked it. So again, I'm just going to flip through these real quick just so you can see how you can this could be considered a glue book, if you will. But then, I've got scribbles in here to go back and blend in, like I showed you a little while ago, using those Jane water-soluble sticks. But you can use your Neocolor too. You can use anything water-soluble and then go back in with, I don't know if there's any white gesso left. Oh, here. Let's go. Just to quickly show you here. And then I can go in here and smear it and blend this in. Can y'all see that? I can blend it in, or even, let's see, that's okay, that's good. So I can go in here and start building. Just I use my imagination. Imagine what was going on in this woman's head. And at the same time, I can just keep painting in, painting out. And I won't do any more right now because I want to get flipped through these. Let me put a piece of paper there. Or even just, I just don't want to glue the pages shut. So, because that's still wet. So again, they're all in different stages. And I can go on to any of these pages at any time and go play. Just go on here and, think up a story for every one of them. And so I'm flipping real quick, guys. So just so I can get through the whole book. So you can see this is some of those stickers. These are some Tim Holtz people, his little photo booth people. And then the other thing y'all see that I've been working on are those big books, the Asian one and my Leonardo one, the ones that I make out of poster board, the big ones that I can store ephemera in. I just painted him in. So you can put your own paintings, your own drawings. And if you're afraid to paint on your page, then you could paint this separately and cut it out and put it in your book. But if you notice, there's like color themes. So things can be cohesive with color. And then here's just some papers from one of the flow books or something that I'll use. So there's that one. And then the same kind of thing except smaller. So it's the same kind of concept. I painted another little lemur in there. You can use your stamps, your stencils. You could get it to a certain stage, then add some stenciling. You could do the smack and drag in the ink. So they're just in different stages, and I'll just go and play in them whenever I want. And see, just flipping through them, I could have stopped it to 20 different pages at any time, and just worked on them. But if you want to do like color themes, then just find you an element or two and then glue those on and then just start rolling with the paint. Pink and purple, green and yellow, pink and orange, blues, blue and orange, black and white and a little touch of yellow, pink and gold. Again, more blue and coral color. So you just, start with some color themes, and then you can start building little worlds. And they don't, not everything has to make sense to everybody that looks at it. Is you do what you do you. You're so kind. Oh well, that's what I love. See, I love inspiring. I love inspiring people to try things. Here's where we did a little test with some different pens. I love inspiring people to try things, to not be afraid to try. Let me show you these again real quick before we go. My big books. Here's where I just covered this one. I just covered a sketchbook of Bristol. It's really big. I covered it to and put the little pearl painty pearls on there, and a faux stained glass thing here. Let's see here. Let's go back out. So you can kind of see how big that is. And it's just a pad of paper, so now I can use it for whatever, sketching. And then the first of the big books that I did, I'm just going to flip through these real quick. Made out of a piece of poster board, and they're different themes. This one's the Asian theme, and I have videos on all these, so I'm not going to really stop and talk about them, other than you can just put your ephemera make your own pockets and lace and gold paint and whatever you want to do. More pockets. And then this one has a little pocket in the back. I do have some more Xandra papers coming, so I'll be making some more of these. This is I'm not sure what this one's called, like Woodland Animals in Space. I'm not sure what the name of this one was, but it's got all kinds of little woodland animals, and I put some other stickers and stamps and did cutouts for frames so that it's framing either way you go. So with all the different the ephemera in it, painty stencily papers, washi tapes, and glitter and stickles. And then the last one that I did was the Leonardo da Vinci one, to make it look like an old book. That's an actual metal piece there. And so this one I did with Leonardo on this side and Mona Lisa on this side with a frame that can go either way. So like this, made the pockets, and all these are little gold dots, and it's got a glare on there. So then these are faux leather like papers that was sent to me in Happy Mail. I got my different sketchbooks from Leonardo. Here's the Last Supper behind these little doors. And then more of his sketchbooks. A little bit of steampunk going on. And then some of his paintings and just different little pockets. So you can do these kind of things. It does take time. I mean, I'm not going to lie. These took a full day. If I would count up all the hours, each one of these books took a full day just to make one, and I didn't make them back to back. So, but there's those, and I do want to make some more. Getting Xandra papers from Stamperia, mostly, and Ciao Bella. Let's see, I got to put these sideways so they don't bend. I want to do an Indian theme. She doesn't have any, I haven't seen any India papers, but I have 4 more of those that I want to make. All right, so real quick, I'm going to take a minute to read from our 1001 Ways to Be Creative. Then I'm going to go see if Hubster's going to grill out today, because he's off today, Labor Day. So again, don't forget, Janet comes on at 1. I'm going to feed my face and try to get back over to Janet's. And then we want to try to do every Thursday. We've moved it to 10 Eastern. We did not realize that on Thursday mornings, Mary Autier streams until 10 Eastern on Thursday. So we did not know that last Thursday. So we will be moving our Thursday show up to 10 if we do a guest show. Now, I can't promise you we're going to have a guest every Thursday. But guys, y'all have to watch the shows. It makes it worth our while to do. If I see that nobody really is interested in guests, then we want to make you guys happy. Okay, so 1,001 Ways to Be Creative. Barbara Ann Kipfer. I got this at Tuesday morning for $3.99. My Tuesday morning has since closed down, but I think you can get this at Amazon. So I usually just skip over and read a couple of pages of inspiration every week, move my little post-it to the next week, and write down your ideas in your Society of Idea Collector. Hi, Dot. No, gee, I've been watching for ages. Forgot to check in. Oh, okay. Well, y'all make sure. And I know sometimes YouTube doesn't give you notifications, but if you're not getting notifications with the little bell, try to unclick the bell and re-click the bell, and make sure you have all selected, because there's all, some, or few, or something like that. I forget what you get 3 options. You have to click all if you want to get all notifications with the little bell. Okay, we're up to 231. And again, you don't have to necessarily do exactly what we're reading. You can adapt it, reevaluate what the prompts are, and rethink them to fit what you would work for you, or mind map them, or make lists out of them. There's so many things that you can do with just the idea. Hi, Joan. Okay, find a comfortable seat outside and draw what is right in front of you. Sit in the same place and draw the same scene each season. So, even if you just did this 4 times a year, sketch your future. Build a wishing well in the backyard. If you don't want to build one, draw one, paint one, build one with popsicle sticks. Design your dream master bedroom. Size, shape, furniture, and its placement, decorations, windows, everything. And then here's some inspiration. Practice seeing like an artist. These are not in the 1,000. These are some extra ones. Describe how your favorite painting creates a feeling. Imagine how changes to the colors, composition, and size would affect how you feel about the painting. I'll tell you, the best example that I had ever known of this was Salvador Dali's Crucifixion. When you see it in a book or a magazine, you see a painting that you can't realize how big it is. Our High Museum in Atlanta a few years ago had that painting on display. And if you've ever looked at it, let me see. I'm going to try to show you just so you can get a perspective. Just a quick rabbit trail here. Hang on, let me look it up on my phone. Salvador Dali. And I'm not sure if that's the official title of it, but let me look. Okay, yeah. Well, there's a whole bunch of different versions. I guess maybe they've made print. I don't know what they've done. But, all right, let me just show you this one. See this painting? And this may not be the exact one, but it's very similar, if it's not the same, that we had at the High Museum. Because there's a couple different versions of it. It's been years since I saw it, so I don't remember if it was this one or one very similar. See these people right here? They are full-size people. That is real life size. So when you're standing in front of this painting, you are as big as these people right here. That's how big this painting is. It's humongous. I can't even say 6, 8, 10, 20. I don't even know how many feet high it is, but it is huge. And when you stand in front of a painting that big, it's just like, oh, wow. All right. So anyway, so imagine how changes to color, composition, and size would affect how you feel about the painting. Squint your eyes to see the basic shapes, circles, rectangles, squares, and triangles that make up the work. Practice looking for basic shapes in your environment. Notice the textures around you. Visit a window in your home at different times of day. Observe how the lighting changes at sunrise, noon, and dusk. Turn an object upside down and draw it. This will help you see the lines and shape that make up the whole. And that's one of Betty Edwards' drawing on the right side of the brain. Take something that you want to draw and you think, I never could draw that. Turn it upside down and draw it, and you will be amazed at how well you can draw. I'm just saying. Now, you may not draw it perfectly the first time you try this, but there's something about fooling your brain into drawing what you see rather than what you think it should look like. Draw it upside down. Look for beauty in a piece of art that you think of as ugly. So I don't want to miss this page, so let's move our little post-it. So there we go. So I like to just read a little bit of inspiration to you guys every week, and we've been doing this book now for, a few weeks. So I hope y'all enjoyed the show. If y'all have any questions, comments, ideas, guests, if you want to be a guest with me and Janet on a Thursday, leave me a comment in the comment section. We don't get a lot of comments on the shows because everybody comments here. They all comment live. So we don't get a lot of comments, but leave a comment. And if you have ideas, things you'd like to see. And, you're welcome, Debbie. You got that book on the right side of the brain? Yeah. Betty Edwards has been around. I mean, my book is from the 70s. She's been around. She's republished it with the workbook and different things. So it's really good. Even if you don't believe or agree with, I shouldn't say believe, agree with all the ideas of one side of the brain versus the other, and which side is more logical, which one, any of that. But her techniques and her developing the skills from her book are so worth it. To have one of her books. All right. Oh, thanks, Christine. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. Leave me a thumbs up, and we'll see you over in about 45 minutes over at Janet's. And hope y'all enjoyed the Art Journal flip chat ideas and inspiration. Thanks, guys. We'll see you there. Bye.